No way, really? What are the odds of that?
I was I spent these last couple of weeks trying to get through all the games that were 2020 games that I just didn't finish. So like I did Resident Evil a few days ago.
Nice.
Was it? It's probably been about almost a week now
really?
with Resident Evil 3. And then Shantae, I said, fuck it, let me go ahead. Because I was towards the end of it. What
I'm on chapter 5. I've saw it like 5 out of 6 apparently. So it's like chapter 5.
That means you probably rescued all the genies. Have you?
So not yet. Like I'm going to the last genie, the very last one.
Okay, the last one is Roddy Top. So yeah, you're probably
Roddy Tops. Yeah.
Yeah, you're towards the end of the game then.
Talk about
go ahead.
A franchise that needs to evolve more. I mean, it's the same shit it's the same cast of characters. It's the same. I know they changed the power-ups in here and there, but they just really like the levels almost look it's hard to tell the two apart between Half Genie Hero and fucking Seven Sirens. You know, they just have it's like they use the same environment.
Well, I would say part of that is because Seven Sirens feels like if you took Shantae 1 and remastered it, that's what it feels like. It feels like it took that old school dungeon design and then just did it again. And it's like, it's cool and I'm cool with it, but at the same time, I agree with you. It's very fucking samey. It feels like, literally like...
Well, a lot of the areas feel like, just square. Everything's like...
Yeah, and they have like one screen. There's one thing to jump over, one enemy. It's like, I know they have the formula and everything, but it's like the new Super Mario Brothers series by, the third game. It's just like, all right, let's try something actually new, like...
And the one thing I'll give them credit for is they figured out how to work transformations into a moveset without you having to stop and dance for them now. Yeah. Like they're just button presses now. So I appreciate that, but I agree with you very much that the level design and just the way the game is structured needs to change.
Because the characters are great, like I don't mind.
Those characters are they got some design.
I like the character art style and stuff, but the levels, like there's nothing really. There's no wow factor at when you went to HD.
No, the bosses are probably the closest thing you get to wow factor. And for me in that game, the only one that really is interesting visually is probably the last one, which Robert, you'll see. You'll see relatively soon.
NFT probably for sure.
Yeah, you could probably bust out in an hour if you really wanted to.
I don't know about all that.
If you have Roddy Top's dungeon isn't really a dungeon. It's literally here's like 9 gauntlets and do it under 5 minutes.
Okay.
Like so her main thing only takes like 5 minutes. So yeah, you could probably finish that game tonight.
Is this a fucking boss fight? You're gonna have to it's she's like Poison Ivy basically. And she's barely moving. Okay, now some shit's happening.
Are you talking about the very first boss?
It's probably the very first. And it's like
that's like the first boss. Yeah, it's like
admittedly, none of the bosses.
I mean, look at this. There's just nothing going on in the screen. Look at the background.
Yeah, that's the first boss.
They rushed this shit out. This one came out pretty quick after well, I guess it was 3.5 years, but
yeah, this would have been in the first thing.
I just like to see them.
I like the music a lot. I think the music is solid.
Oh no, the music's great. I think Shantae's always had good music. It's just I can agree. I especially feel that way after playing like something like Ori. It was like, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I can see the appeal to this boss, but it's nothing to do with fighting the boss.
Well, that's the thing, yo. I'm telling you, the character designs are
they're always adorable. Geez. Ever since fucking Hyper.
Adorable. They're more than adorable.
Mighty Switch Force.
The Switch, the HD. What was that called? Mighty Switch. What'd you say? Switch Force?
Yeah, Mighty Switch Force.
Switch Force.
Yeah, that I was like, they're like, there was like 4 different scenes, like kind of loading screens, and they're like doing a car wash, and it's just like it's this adorable, like cute, sexy like art style. Yeah, their character designs are great, but it just feels like they're just riding the same.
Well, I think part of it is that it's such a small incremental change between games. You're like almost like don't put a number in front of it. And this game had its own issues with being like Apple Arcade exclusive for like the first couple episodes, and then the whole game got finished last year. And I'm like, I feel like you guys don't have the funding to make Shantae, and Shantae doesn't make enough to consistently
Yeah,
But
I mean, I'm sure they don't have a huge team and stuff, but I'm watching where she's like drilling through, and it's just such simplistic level design. It doesn't take really any skill to figure out like where to go and any skill to get there. I mean, it's just you get the ability, and it's just like you can just drill, and it just feels
it's very much like a section of the area is locked off. So in order to like get to that section, well, you got to find the power up, or if it's your first run through a dungeon, you have to like find something that can allow you to get to where
it's
you
got
need
the
to
Zelda.
go.
Well, also what's weird is that like literally what's annoying is the map. You have to press start to see the map, and that alone is just annoying. Like, why don't they have a mini map anywhere?
Yeah, I probably say I was surprised, but I didn't realize that. I went back and played it today. I was like, yeah, where the it's like, yeah,
have to press start map, and then sometimes you press start. Oh, I'm on the items map, and like it's minor,
Yeah,
but it's like
that's a lot of games though.
You're constantly checking the map. Yeah, but bro, you're a Metroidvania. If I can put a little map on the corner, somewhere.
It suffers pretty much the issue. It suffers like what's I would say Samus Return suffers from, where it's like old school design but it's a modern game. You've just seen modern games do the same design better. So you're like, can we get some of those modern improvements? Yeah. So realistically, we're like, we hope the next game has some modern improvements, because this shit's not terrible. But man, really, we appreciate some of those. It doesn't feel like an evolution.
I'd like to. I don't know what kind of team size they have. I know they
isn't huge.
I know they had to crowdfund Half Genie Hero.
Yeah,
and, how short that game was. I don't know what it takes to make one of these games. I'm sure it's. Not
I still think this
is
better than. I think it's better. I think this is better than Half Genie Hero. But
I wish somebody would just give them the funds to like take it to the next level, like visually, and obviously the level design would have to improve too. Like there's some
because it's Big Doug or some shit.
Yeah, it just
I played
feels,
that shit back in '83.
It just feels like they're out of ideas.
Not enough dirt. 0 out of 10.
Like somebody said, it looks like a Mario Maker 2 boss stage. Some of these levels look like just a Mario Maker stage that was just thrown together like fairly quickly. Like there's not a lot of depth to the level design. It's very
it looks a little plain,
straightforward. It's unfortunate because, like I said, the Shantae as a character, all the returning characters are all, really good characters. Music,
really good.
So, but anyway, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Shantae podcast, and
kind of went left.
Just OG Juices Loose podcast tonight. 4 of us.
All American, baby.
Yeah, America, baby, America. Clocked it in Retro Death. They flew to Michigan. They got their assault rifles, and they're standing outside the Capitol.
No.
We're not doing this.
These idiots.
No, we're not doing this.
Lock them all up.
Let's do video games, damn it.
This is the escape, okay?
Please don't.
But anyway, so we can talk some video games. We got we had the Bowser's Fury trailer, which I was making fun of. Like, why did they announce this trailer a day in advance for a fucking add-on to a port? And we'll talk about that later. I didn't check the questions yet, so I'm going to do that. We got a few in here. Might as well jump into those. And Dave97, I think we talked a little bit about this last week. I don't remember if I asked this specific question. If I did, forgive me. Would you say that Next Level Games has surpassed Retro Studios in quality and output? Yeah, we didn't ask that. Output, obviously. No. Output's not even.
Well, yeah, output's not a question.
I feel like I feel. What about quality?
I think they're pretty. I think their qualities. The last 2 Luigi games were great. It sucks that they had to make
They're close.
That they made a Metroid Prime Federation Force, and it couldn't just be a single player, deep.
Should have been a Wii U game. But
so far, I mean, I'm liking what they're doing, and they've been consistent. And I wouldn't be surprised if they have a game out this year. I mean, they must.
You think?
This year or next year for. I wouldn't be surprised because they put out games pretty close together. So I would say that's fair. At this point. We don't even know what Retro is capable of anymore. It's been 8 year or 7 years since their last like new game.
Yeah, 7.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I
Well,
very
we
much,
know that
I very
we know
much
that they
believe one
made
of their
something
games went through
and
development
Nintendo's
hell.
waiting.
It's like, what are they making? Cyberpunk over there?
No, I very much believe one of their games went through development hell. That's what I believe.
Man, they're
You know
constantly
what's
going
funny?
through
At
development
this
hell.
point, had to.
No, what's funny is I was talking about the 3D Mario team. Like I commented, I think it was on Active Gamer Life's video, and I was like, it's like, yeah, this. I mean, it's time for a new 3D Mario game, and they have what Bowser's Fury, which I don't want to get into that, but and this person's like, well, they deserve a rest. They can't just release game after game. I'm like, a rest? Like, it's their job Monday through Friday or whatever to
Yeah.
make games. You don't get a rest from your job. They might get a break from a certain franchise,
Yeah.
but they don't get to
Yeah.
they don't get to rest because they just put out Odyssey in 2017.
Maybe I want to take a vacation.
Yeah, it also, yeah.
It's your job. You go right to the next thing. Sorry.
That's what I replied.
Take a couple weeks break or something. But
And
what are you talking about?
He came back with something lame. I'm just like, it's your fucking job. You don't rest. Like maybe, he came back with Sakurai. Well, Sakurai is, what do you call it? They hire him each time.
He's contracted.
Contract.
Yeah,
he
he's
can do
contracted.
whatever the fuck he wants, but don't think that his program, people he hired or works with the program aren't working Monday through Friday or whatever, Monday through Saturday, whatever, every day of every month, and
They're not sitting around doing nothing.
you don't take a
They're
rest.
working.
It's your job.
Yeah.
So I just thought that
People
was
say
fucking
the stupidest things when they try
Yeah,
to.
it's like, all right, guys, we
defend
finished
stuff.
the game. We'll come back in another 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? We'll
Come back in a couple years.
Come back
When it
in
comes
another
to
3 years.
debating Wii U ports on Switch, and when it comes to DC movies, I see the dumbest
The
fucking
dumbest.
comments. I saw one today because apparently Zack Snyder, instead of they were going to do like 4-hour episodes for Justice League. He's like, it's just going to be a 4-hour movie, like that. I'm guessing through
They changed
editing.
it?
Yeah, I'm guessing through editing, they just said, no, it works better as a straight movie. This guy's like, oh, why did they change this? It would have been much better as a series. No one's going to sit through a 4-hour cinema style movie. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It's on HBO Max. You can just stop it halfway through.
Yeah.
Pause it.
Like,
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, anyone?
Endgame, anyone? Like,
And
Exactly.
if this was going to the theater, maybe, but it's just HBO Max. You can fucking pause it at any time, stop it, come back the next day. Like, it's just the stupid shit people come up with. And I see the same stuff about usually the Wii U port situation or Nintendo's output. And that one was just like, that just blew my mind. But anyway, do you
I didn't
think...
know they changed that happen.
Hmm?
I didn't know they changed that. When did that happen? Like,
Like
It was
a
like
couple days ago,
2 days ago.
he announced it.
how did I miss that?
So this is a good one because I already kind of answered this. Do you think next game from Next Level will release before Metroid Prime 4? Absolutely.
Actually, yeah.
It'll
Yeah,
get
that-
announced before.
that'll-
No,
yes.
I won't go that ridiculous, but I very much believe we'll get a trailer for Next Level Games next game before we get Metroid's trailer.
That's a good.
Well, I think it depends on
That
the
too.
game. If it's a Mario sports title,
It's
or
probably a Mario Sports title. I'm
Well, they
betting
don't
money
wait.
into Mario Sports.
Oh, they
title.
made Strikers, didn't they?
they
Yeah.
strike. And
Yep.
because of that, remember, because Nintendo bought Next Level, that means we're for sure getting a Strikers game, not any other franchise. Strikers.
And Next Level's not fucking hiring
Okay.
like key positions for a game that's been announced for 4 years. Like Retro's
yeah,
still
that's right,
announcing like key fucking positions for Metroid Prime 4.
Insanity. Yeah, I have to say, yeah, it's not coming. I mean, that reason alone lets you know. I mean, they're hiring high level pieces to the puzzle, and it's like, you guys don't have these people yet. Where are you in this game? You still on paper or some shit? Like, what's going on?
I mean, it's like I was just watching Ninja Theory's little doc. They do like a documentary on their YouTube channel of their games they're working on, and we knew as soon as they announced that the first one was Hellblade 2. They were doing location scouts for to come up with their locations in the game. Like that was like earlier last year. So you knew that if that's what the first video they put out, that they had barely started this game.
Right.
And then they just put one out for that Project Mara where they're showing how they're trying to recreate. It takes place in just one room in an apartment, and they're trying to recreate that apartment as realistic as possible because they don't have to deal with any other environments. And it's like, yeah, this game ain't coming out for 3 years, like, and that's why I wish Retro would at least do something, like give us an idea where you're at. But
Well, you know what? It seems like Next Level Games releases a game like every 3 years max. So I mean, that should line
yeah,
up with
2018 or
that
Luigi's
should line
Mansion
up
was 2019.
2019.
Now
Yeah,
it's
so we-
2019.
For 2016.
So probably
Luigi Mansion
next year then.
2013.
Well, I think
Maybe,
we'll give it.
if they come out at the same time, that's still embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
And if they come out the
And
same
also-
Well, Retro worked on Funky Kong or whatever.
oh yeah,
and
that took
also,
a couple
well, they work-
years.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
that-
the reason why I very much believe their last game with their development hell, considering how many positions they now have to they've been rehiring for. I imagine there was some
Yeah,
shit
go
happening.
Star Fox Racing?
No.
Because that was the rumor. Star Fox Racing.
Yeah,
was
that's
the
we don't want to
the
get into
dumbest
the
idea ever.
we don't want to get into the whole accountability for rumor people who report on that shit. But that
Oh.
one was pretty
yeah.
seemed pretty report on like it was
Everybody
pretty
was
legit.
talking about that.
Like that
Yeah.
shit was pretty like confirmed. Daco Trees asked about Game Explain. I don't know anything about that situation.
Oh yeah. Oh, so
I know everything. Let's get gossipy,
no,
shall we?
let's do it. Let's
But he just
do
said
it.
that apparently they got the Final Fantasy VII remake on the April 4th, and he made the person review it and have it done by April
So,
6th.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so to quickly kind of go into it, it's not that long. The way this started is that I think I've mentioned a while back that like Derek, Ash, and Steve all kind of left around the same time and like made their own channel called Good Vibes Gaming. And I guess in one of their podcasts, they referenced the fact that like the crunch time for like reviews were insane. Like Andre had him essentially like the Final Fantasy thing, for example, where
Well, Robert could
he had-
work there then.
that was see, so GameXplain started getting a bunch of hate once that podcast came out, and people noticed that they went on to like GameXplain and started bombarding Andre and them with issues, and then apparently it came out. I
Trolling.
think, yeah, they
all
were
kinds of weird shit in the comments.
Yeah, they were buzzing. And then I think it came out that Steve wasn't even. So Steve actually made like a twit longer explaining the situation even further and mentioned how this dude was essentially Andre was paying him a flat rate of like it was like $1 or $2 $1 or $2 a day. I think
It
$2
came to like
$2 an hour. $2 an hour.
Oh, yeah.
It came to like $2 to $3 an hour. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
Basically.
and so and there was no like variable in it. It was just a flat rate. So no matter how many extra videos he did, if he was working with publishers to like secure review copies for games, essentially it seemed like Andre was like hoarding the money and pretty much doing his employees dirty, and it became a nasty snowball effect where people were just pissed.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
What's his face went to
Well, they were
Nintendo
showing-
Life. John.
Well, he
Yeah,
just did it. He just got a better
He was
offer.
apparently
Yeah, I
making,
would.
like,
Yeah.
well,
From what I heard,
now-
they got a better offer.
Robert, you're getting cut out. You sure you're on the app and not on the web browser?
Yeah, you're a little choppy. Your video a little choppy.
That looks
yeah,
clean
sure.
on my end.
No, it's because the whole thing is that
Missing some frames.
Yeah, your delay, your voice and mouth isn't synced up.
Oh, really? No, that was an idea of my own. But
Well
still,
played. Well played.
Really?
It's bad. It's not as bad as it's been.
Derailed your whole commentary.
Sorry, but go ahead. Go ahead.
So, because apparently, John was making like 12,000 a year, so like he could not work for that, So and apparently, they could all see the analytics, and he was making even the low points were like apparently a few tens of thousands in ad revenue alone, like the Game Explain channel,
month?
and a month, and so they were getting drip fed little things, and
Mhm.
apparently they would also like had to bug Andre to actually pay them. And sometimes it went at the longest it went was like 9 months without pay, like some crazy shit where it was like, what?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
How do you forget to pay?
That's
How do
like
you
getting
forget to pay
paid for the Nintendo Switch online membership when we do the family. Right, Terrell?
I went,
Yeah, sometimes you get paid. You know how it is, right, Darrell?
That's just ridiculous though, because I noticed though when somebody said they split, we didn't know all this at the time, and something came out where I was like, oh, I'll check out Game Explains video, and Andre had this super enthusiastic, like high energy delivery. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like it was jarring because he's never been like that. It was, I think it was over the 3D All Stars. It was something really basic, and he was just trying to sound so excited or energetic, and I think he was trying to be like, hey, I'm a good guy, because he knew this shit was coming. But I've been unsubscribed to them for a couple years, ever since they showed like Final Boss. Like as soon as the game come out, they had like the Final Boss and like in the thumbnail, and then they started doing the 2-minute news where they just tell you.
Those are the worst.
Like, don't just tell me the headline. If you got nothing to add to it, don't even make a fucking video. And so I unsubbed from them. And that it's been a long time, so I didn't know any of this had happened. But
yeah, it happened. What, in the last few weeks? I want to say.
Last few weeks.
Yeah, like a lot of it became a nasty snowball effect where like it was one mention, and man, they clowned the fuck out of Andre. It was ridiculous. The comment section is probably the best thing to read now in Game Explain video.
Oh, it's hilarious down there.
Lord.
All right, so
the only thing I can kind of equate it to is like poor Richard Review Tech when he had his whole beef, and his comment section was comedy gold.
Oh yeah.
There were some good ones, and Robert shared something that was stupid, but almost every comment was great. Oh, it was the person saying that guys won't play a game because of a female. Is Grand Theft Auto.
Like guys won't play.
But the people were just ripping that comment. But the truth is, the GTA, a big part of the GTA player base was crying about it. They're like,
oh, they were,
because you know what kind of people, like the majority of GTA players aren't gamers. They're not, they're not going out buying a bunch of games. They just GTA comes out and they play that and especially with the online, and they just play that.
Yeah, casuals.
And casual GTA dude.
A lot of dude bros, yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you they own an Xbox. No, I'm just playing.
So I've seen their reaction to the report that there might be a female lead in GTA 6, and it's like, really, guys? Like, really? Like that just. But anyway,
and why? I mean, but that's also bait too. Like the companies know that. Like, why is that the first thing to come out about the game? Yeah. How about telling us about the fucking game and not who's going to be?
Just announce, just show the game and show the trailer with the character.
Well, I think it's a rumor. I think it's just all.
It's also bait.
Yeah,
but it's bait too. Sometimes companies throw that shit out there just to have people talking about their game. Talking about their movie or whatever. They throw that little bait out there, like with what was it? What's the Star Wars movie? The one that Solo, like with Solo. There's this whole thing about is Han Solo pansexual?
Mm-hmm.
Because he they hinted at him maybe messing around with the robot. It was just quick little offhanded. It was a quick little offhanded thing. And
Lando,
Lando's pansexual.
That's stupid.
And I was like, come on.
It does make you wonder why GTA hasn't. They've had so many like different characters. Like, why? I know that times have changed, but and they always have the strippers and all that. And it's like, I wonder if that's gonna still be kind of like in the next game where you go to the strip club and you get the lap dance, and it's like, that's just. Strip clubs are in real life. It's not like they're doing something that's out of the ordinary, but at the same time,
the cat says, "I want to be in the."
At the same time, it's pointless as hell. Like,
yeah, and it does feel like sometimes it does feel like a bunch of not misogynistic, but a bunch of dudes made the game. For sure, it feels like a
pervy shit is in the game for no
very
good reason.
testosterone game.
My issue is this: it's not proper simulation life. If you don't have guys simping over OnlyFans, if that's just not happening, this is a fake ass game in my opinion. You're not.
GTA is essentially asshole the game. Every character's an asshole.
Yeah. They're the scum of the earth, but they're still likable.
All that stuff. That's how it is. The game. That's what it's supposed to be.
But
It's supposed to be.
there's women like
It's the
that
last
too.
alpha male. It's the last alpha male game we have. We can't let them take our game from us,
Yeah.
guys.
They could have if anybody who's watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, Azula's like the bitchiest, like she's such a good villain. It's hard not to like her because she's so clever, she's so cunning, but she is a fucking bitch, but you still like her. So that kind of character would work in a GTA
Cersei,
game.
Sure.
Cersei, yep. Like
Cersei
just
Lannister, like
cutthroat, like just as
I'm sure
cold
they're
as they
gonna do
get type character. I mean, that seemed like a good fit for a GTA game. So I think they actually
fuck,
could use.
even it doesn't have to be a terrible person. It could be kind of an anti-hero, like what's her name from Terminator, Sarah Connor,
Connor.
like a Sarah Connor type. Like she's a tough, badass chick and don't take shit, and maybe she's a little crazy. That would be very interesting as a character instead of these same similar as bullshit, criminal characters they
Mhm.
always have in these GTA games. So
It would be
fuck off.
refreshing. I mean, it wouldn't
Yeah,
magically make the game suddenly appealing to me, even though
no,
there's things about the GTA games I've found
The world.
in each game. I find something that I cling to, like the flying in GTA 5. Now I got Flight Simulator. I'm sure going back to GTA 5 wouldn't be. Cat, you're gonna fall again. But that was some of the most like.
She wants the attention.
She wants this Harley Quinn Funko Pop figure for some reason.
Just give it to her. You don't need it.
But like the flying in GTA 5 was so realistic at the time with the clouds. It just was amazing. That's mainly what I did in the damn game. GTA 4, I actually played through that whole game, and I found it. I enjoyed it. It was one of my first 360 games I played, and I got into it. But going back and trying it, I paid like $3 for the 4 and all the DLC on Steam, and I tried playing it for like 20 minutes. I'm like, this is I couldn't do it again.
It's hard to go back to GTA 4. Ooh,
but
it's ugly. It's ugly as hell. That's one problem.
So let's go to another question here. Ibsters asks, now that a new gen is in full swing, I was wondering, is there a game mechanic or feature that you would like to see go, or at least be more creative in their intended function? Could be a pet peeve. Let's see. Personally, he says towers in every open world game open up the map. Waves of bad guys, normally an area you need to wait an X amount of time for some reason. And these bits of games where you have to fight through or fit through a small gap and slowly move. Those are good examples of things I wish would go away. Fucking Tomb Raider started that, or Uncharted, I think maybe it's Uncharted.
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty sure it's Uncharted.
I know, like they said that was for loading purposes, because there's in Shadow of the Tomb Raider they have this stupid knee-deep mud in 2 or 3 spots in the game for no reason other than to slow your ass down so it can load the other section as you're kind of leaving one area. And it's so annoying. And I was like, yeah, stuff like that, especially with fucking solid states, like that shit should go away. Like,
I want to punch myself every
Well,
time.
mine's is the slow ass walking segments that happen in the middle of a fucking level. The best example is Batman.
Yeah,
that's Batman's fault.
Batman
does that shit.
It's like I'm talking to Oracle. Yeah, and you're just like.
Bayonetta does that. Bayonetta 2, if you watch my.
Yeah, they all do that. Yeah,
but that's post Batman though.
I want to say Batman originated that problem.
Yeah.
And it never fucking went away. God, it never went away.
Well, they could do the thing about having to squeeze through the, like a crevice or something, or in a tunnel, where it actually could be cool. But there's times where I'm like, do I even have to hold up here? And I let go. I was like, oh, yeah, she stopped moving. Like,
I don't think it's Batman, actually. I think it's Gears of War started that shit.
Really?
Yeah, I think that does it. Yeah, that does it too.
Yeah.
But like, they could use some gameplay mechanics out of that. Like, other than must just do it for loading, because they don't do anything with it other than maybe a jump scare. But anything else anybody can think of? I think the tower for the map. It's. I agree with that, and then I don't agree, because in Immortals, because it has the Breath of the Wild climbing mechanic, it helps like, okay, where's the center of the next area, because the map's under clouds, and you see this giant statue, okay, I know if I go climb that I'll be able to unlock the map, and it's nice to know where I need to go. And I like that the map isn't fully unlocked yet, and I like that in Breath of the Wild. That was one of my favorite things, was finding all the towers, and I took my time.
I think the tower situation is more of an issue of it being overused instead of it being like a bad thing in itself. I feel like it's just gotten to the point now where it's like
Ubisoft shit.
it's every fucking way, and you're just kind of like,
It
for
is
certain games it doesn't make sense in. I think that's the main issue. It
Well, I
needs to
think
be
you have certain games, but not for
Yeah.
every-
because in Watch Dogs you just had to like find these hacking stations to open the map, and then in Assassin's Creed you have, you know, the top of a building, you jump into a
Jump, you
haystack, and in
jump.
Far Cry 3 you had the radio towers, and that had some platforming, but it was, I hated doing that. And then they had this ridiculous like him wiring it, and it's just like, come on, like. But in Breath of the Wild I absolutely love it, so I guess I can't hate it completely.
Oh, I know one thing I want to come back. Proper platforming in 3D in third person games. I feel like after a certain point, because we were going for cinematic appeal, it's like, oh, you can just run. I think Tomb Raider does it. You can just kind of run up to a ledge and you'll auto jump. Or
No, she don't auto jump, but
or am I thinking of what?
like
Oh, I'm
God
thinking
of War,
God
you can't even fucking jump until unless it's a spot where
For
you
some
can
reason,
jump.
it feels like we went through this weird war on the jump button situation towards the latter end of this gen, and I'm kind of like, platforming's fine, guys. You can have us jump in these games. Like, I feel like it's almost like they forgot because the worst thing I have in God of War, I guess I'll stick with that example, is when I run up to a fucking like ledge that's maybe like 2 inches above my foot, and he won't just step the fuck over, and I'm like, is this really what we're doing here? Like, I don't know, man. Sometimes it irks me.
Like the Witcher 2 did that really bad, and Witcher 3 has some of it, but even Horizon, like, it's just their way of saying, that game has a jump, but it has invisible walls because they don't have the climbing, so you're going to get stuck down there. And that's the one thing that I will say.
You have all these interesting rock formations where it's like, I should be able to scale this shit, but I keep bouncing and sliding off of it. This is so fucking annoying.
Imagine Horizon. It wouldn't even be a Breath of the Wild clone. Just make her be able to climb, and you might be put some restrictions to it, but keep everything else the same, and it's not going to just immediately feel like a Breath of the Wild clone just if you let her climb. It's like, maybe change up how they have to design some of the things, but it's like, oh, I got to find a yellow rope or yellow peg to climb. Like,
it's like, I can do all this crazy climbing shit where you want me to climb. I can do all this superhuman, hanging off of ledges, but I can't get up these little tiny ass rocks. Like, get the fuck out of here with this.
Yeah, that's
my biggest thing.
Actually, that's just an issue with realism in their games in the first place. It seems like the more realistic and detailed a world gets, the less logic wants to be thrown out the window. It's like, oh, I can jump 50 feet in the cutscene, but I can't use one fucking ladder because it wasn't something I was meant to interact with. And I'm like, that's fucking lame.
Well, just like the Clocked It pointed out in his guide, we're going to just be ragging on God of War because it had a lot of limitations. There was
wait, which one?
The God of War 2018, where you have an axe, you can throw it. You can use it in clever ways to like freeze things that are spinning, but you have a fucking chain and you need to get something down and you can't throw your axe at it. You have to do whatever I can't even remember what the thing is that you actually need to do to cut it or break it, but you can't throw your axe.
I thought that was, you talking about the stuff where Atreus has to drop the chain down for you to climb up, or are you talking about?
No, it was Clocked It had it in his review. If we watched that, it would be the exact moment, but it's you had to cut chain or rope. And his axe just went through it. And it wanted you to do it a specific way. And it's like, that's going to take more thought and more programming and, more time. But that just adds to the experience instead of takes away. Because in Breath of the Wild, I was just, I see something, I shoot my arrow at it, and it cuts the rope. And I think a boomerang probably works. And you could burn it. Like, there's so many different ways, and it's just that the restrictions of that kind of stuff I'd like to see go away. That seems to be pretty prevalent in a lot of games.
Yeah, I just want more rewards for creative puzzle
Fucking
solving.
Ocarina of Time did it, where you could like, there's I think a couple ways to get through something. One was burning it. And Wind Waker, I know, took it to the next level. I could not figure out how to get down in the like second dungeon. Like, I'm on this rope bridge. I'm like, how the fuck do I get down? Do I gotta burn this thing? And I just accidentally swiped my sword and it cut one of the ropes. I didn't even think that was a possibility because no other game had done that. And still to this day, games don't do that. Like,
Well, it's like a restriction of like game logic versus real world logic. And I think when we were younger playing games, we very much got into game logic thought process to where, okay, this is how game shit's gonna work. So when you actually, I think that's one of the reasons why Breath of the Wild was such an amazing experience, because in a lot of ways, Breath of the Wild reintroduced a lot of real world logic. I think it's not, granted, it's exaggerated, not all of it makes sense, but the point I'm making is it's like, oh shit, I can burn the grass to cause an updraft that allows me to fly in the air. Or like if you're in one of those in one of the shrines, I think there's one where you have to actually, like, it's like a hanging fire lamp of some sort, and you have to burn the leaves off the side of it, but your brain's like, but when you're looking at it, you wouldn't think that that's what you're supposed to do. And then you just happen to like knock the lamp into the leaves. Like, oh shit, the leaves caught fire. Oh, that's how I'm so fucking supposed to do it. Because in other games, that wouldn't be the case. You have to walk up and hit a fucking X button to trigger a cutscene that allows me to, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Or it'd be highlighted. Because every game has a detect. Oh, that's the other thing I want to get rid of. Detective mode. The fucking, that vision. Tomb Raider has it. Batman has it. I'm trying to think of, again, it's always a button that I can click that highlights all the shit I need to interact with.
or the
like,
stuff you can interact. And Tomb Raider just shows you things you can interact with, but they have it where you can minimize that in the latest game. But yeah, that became a crutch, and it's like,
yeah,
it's because, and give Clactic credit for this as well. He said because the visuals got to a point where you couldn't tell the difference between a static texture and an object you could interact with.
that's why you had to make
So
it.
they found that as a way to, okay, this thing's movable or something. Because back in before the visuals got as good as they got, it was like, you could kind of tell the things you could move. It's almost like animation when you tell some old hand drawn animation versus the painted background versus the thing that's about to move. Stands out.
Yeah. Ironically enough, but the irony was in making that, at least I know for Batman, using it as my example, I fucking never saw the game normally. Because there was no reason not to have the detective mode on. So I'm seeing everything in these blue fucking highlights and the yellow thing that's glowing that I got to interact with. And I'm like, yeah, this kind of sucks because I have no reason to cut this off. There's no punishment in having it on for too long. I think Tomb Raider does that thing where it kind of like flashes.
It only lasts for a second if you're moving.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is a lifesaver. Other times, I don't use it constantly, especially in the third game where you can kind of, I have it so you can't even tell what ledges, like the white, gets rid of the white, scrapes that let you know, hey, you can jump up this. And I want to give Tomb Raider some credit because Retro Death 49 in the chat. I think Retro Death took over Lightning's.
Wow.
He's talking about QTEs. There's hardly any QTEs.
There's hardly any in there. I don't know what game he was
playing. There's a dodge
but
mechanic that you can activate a kind of a quick time dodge mechanic, but that's just in hand-to-hand comment.
I think in the first Tomb Raider one,
but
it has QTEs.
There are a lot of things in the levels, especially Shadow of the Tomb Raider in the main town, where you just you just you jump again, and she jumps up and climbs, and grabs a ledge. Like, it doesn't get you anywhere, but it's interactive. She can, and then there's times where you land on a roof and you're not supposed to be there, and she awkwardly slides off. It's like there's some limitations, but I feel like I watched some footage of the original Tomb Raider, and I wish the new Tomb Raiders had her platforming, her side jumps, and some of the animations for standing on a pillar, jumping from one pillar to the next. I do like that. That's the one thing about the new Tomb Raiders that they got missing, that's missing. But I still feel like just running around the environment, drawing and shooting the bow, jumping out gaps, hitting X to throw out your your rope and stuff and swinging. Like all that feels really, really good to me. And the climbing, sometimes a little bit tedious, but there is skill involved, and you can die. Unlike Uncharted, it feels like, a lot of times you just, if you weren't holding the right way, nothing would happen, and then just waited till you were pressing up instead of to the right or something and hit jump, and then it happened. Or in Tomb Raider, you can just jump into your death if you don't know where you're going. So, but it's not perfect either. I mean, there's some issues. There's some invisible walls. The combat with the guns and stuff still isn't very good. But I'm trying to think of, and that was a great question by Ibsters. I want to give him a shout out for that.
I think another thing is just AI in general, like for stealth and shit.
Yeah.
How many times, games that, I was talking about, even I like Ghost of Tsushima.
You don't like this
Hater.
fucking game. You don't
Fucking
like
hater.
this game at all.
No. And that's still
You gonna convince me you like this game.
I'm just saying that's the latest game that I played with the stealth section like that, where
You don't like this fucking
you
game.
could be right, you could be like 5 steps away from him, and he's like technically in his peripheral vision, and you could stab someone and they'll go, but they don't hear it because you still killed them, And so it's like
Does that
all right.
in Days Gone? I'd say the first Last of Us was probably one of the worst, because I mean literally they were almost touching elbows, and I took the guy out and his dude next to him didn't hear it. And then Days Gone, it's like I swear the person was almost facing me and didn't see me, and I'm doing the stealth kill, and it's like, it is annoying. But it would also be, I don't think it would even be fun to play a game where the AI got so good they heard every little sound,
Like yeah, I get it. Like at some point you do need, to let the player continue on and progress.
It's a
But
video
there's gotta be a
game.
fine balance. There's got to be a fine balance, and I feel like for a lot of games there's not that balance.
Yeah, get it
And-
to where you can't have two guys next to each other. You got to separate them in order to do the stealth kill, because it will alert them, like something like that.
Or you got fucking Spider-Man, same thing, where
Mhm.
you could do some bullshit.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Where they'll look at you
your
for, they'll look
brothers
at you
running
for
around
30
Yeah.
in front of
seconds.
everybody.
Yeah, they'll see Mary Jane for like 10 seconds, and then you'll just go, and they're like, "Oh, I think I saw something."
You're like, huh? Is that somebody? And then you just walk off, and they're like, huh?
Yeah,
It is like,
that's a
wow,
fucking.
Last of Us, Uncharted.
That's a
Yeah,
Ubisoft
they all-
thing again. They did that in
That-
Far
that-
Cry
that-
2, I
That
think.
that fucking AI reset after like 5 seconds, and you're like,
Yeah.
bitch, what? What do you mean? At least go
Yeah.
check the corner. That's what makes me mad. Like I'll walk behind a corner.
Because even Metal
Oh.
Gear Solid did that shit better. It was annoying when they found you, but they stayed on you. You really had to work to hide. So,
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's why people say the stealth genre is dead.
well,
Because
what was I
um,
playing? What was I just playing
My
though?
favorite.
Where you fucking,
Splinter
I was laying in the bushes, and I know Donkey
Last
did a
of Us?
video on this on like Crisis, but as soon as one person heard me or knew where I was up high and I laid down prone, whatever game I was playing, I was out of sight, but they all knew where I was like immediately. And then I think it was Crisis, maybe it was the remaster or something. Donkey did it, and like as soon he was like looking over, probably looked like maybe an eighth of a mile, this boat out on the water, and all of a sudden it just starts shooting at him and hitting him, and it was just terrible. It's ridiculous. And then one person got an idea where he was, and all of a sudden everybody's shooting right at him,
Oh,
and it's
that's-
like
It's like
You know
a
what?
cyberpunk cop spawning.
that's
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
fucking Perfect Dark Zero. One guy sees you, and they all start
Oh,
moving around left
man.
and right.
Oh, that's awful.
And I'm like, oh my god, no. Although no, but at the same time, everyone will be alarmed, but then you'll have one guy still walking his route slowly.
Mhm.
Well, everyone around him is shooting, and he just walking slowly around. Like, all right, come on, everyone's shooting. How do you not look around?
GTA or not GTA, but Metal Gear Solid 5 had some decent encounters where you had like the bases, the enemy bases, another Ubisoft fucking thing, and there was some trial and error, but I felt pretty rewarded. It was pretty rewarding to actually go through some of those areas, some of the bigger compounds, and take everybody out, because they didn't all know where you were as soon as somebody. But then if they got to a point, they would send reinforcements and shit. So I mean, there is some potential there for that idea. But yeah, some better programming that would be nice. I don't think if somebody else can think of another one. We'll go to the next
I
question.
thought T had one. I thought you were gonna say one earlier, Z.
What?
Like another thing to get rid of moving forward.
Games.
If I could look at my games collection, it would help.
Because I remember you were about to say something.
Yeah, now I remember.
And I think Juice went into a store, and I was like, "Oh no, he's gonna forget."
I totally forgot. I did have one, a pretty good one. I can't remember. Maybe if I come up with it, I'll bring it up later.
Let's just remove games in general, yo. End the industry, man.
Wow.
You know what I'd like to see more of though is like, I know if it's not done well or if it gets done too much, but like Bayonetta's like dodge mechanic instead of like the stupid dodge rolling in almost every fucking game. I guess dodge rolling would be the thing I want to see disappear. The way that it's done.
I mean, Flurry Rush, like with Ocarina or Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild has like a Flurry Rush. Bayonetta's, you just have a dodge if you time it right. It doesn't necessarily have to slow it down, but instead of just dodge rolling, and even though if they're swinging and like Monster Hunter, I noticed this. I'm dodge rolling, so I'm invincible. Like that's just a flaw to me of the game. If you can't make it where you just have to dodge roll and you're invincible no matter what. I know Dark Souls, Demon Souls does that like constantly. I kind of, that never looks fun in the few games where I have played where you dodge roll. It just becomes you're just over relying on it, and it's really just not much to it. So I wouldn't mind seeing an evolution of that.
I'm like half and half with that, because I've seen when Bayonetta came out, I feel like we started getting like an influx of games that wanted to do that witch time dodge, and I'm like, I get it, but at least for Bayonetta, it made more sense because that was an action game, like that whole
story element.
Yeah, like whereas like in other games they just would throw it in there. Even realistically with Zelda, with Link, it kind of didn't make any sense. We fuck with it, and my biggest issue with Zelda is that it's just really loose. Like you can dodge like 3 to 5 seconds in advance, and they'll still count.
It's a little, some characters. I feel like some enemies it's harder, but I in my last live stream I did do one where I thought I pressed it pretty early.
That's all you do.
But
my thing is, I don't want them to rely. I feel like you got to come up with in the Switch game, and you can dodge pretty early. But what I was gonna say is that I don't want them to rely on this Bayonetta witch time either, because I feel like I said, certain games decide to just run with it, and like Bayonetta, it was at least thematically a part of her gameplay, whereas other characters, it was just like, well, it's a cool mechanic, and we can't really come up with a better concept for a dodge roll.
Well, it kind of, just thinking about it while you're talking, the evolution of it in a more realistic game is like The Last of Us Part 2, where it doesn't net you like slow down or quick, witch time, but adding that, and same with Resident Evil 3, adding that mechanic
Resident Evil 3 is a good example.
Makes going back to the first game, Resident Evil 2 and The Last of Us Part 1, it's sorely missing in those games, where it doesn't have to go to witch time, but it's also, you're not just constantly rolling on the ground and it's like being invincible. You just have to, if you time it right, it works. It's not
Resident. I think
it's not like you go into this indestructible animation or something.
Yeah, it's like,
well, Bayonetta had kind of like a lock for it, where you could like I think you could do it. You could dodge roll like 3 times, and if you didn't get witch time on any of those dodges, it would do like a jumping animation and knocked you out of it. So you were still open to attack. Like you couldn't just spam it. Mm-hmm. My problem with like certain games, it's like, because I think even Resident Evil 3, you can fucking spam it if you want to. If you're good enough, you literally can go through a good chunk of the
time
game.
It right. You can't just spam it and
still
get hit.
3 is at least tighter with the window, and I think that was my issue with Zelda. But like, I feel like there's a better way and something that makes more thematic sense for other characters. Because you can't tell me my 2 options is either an invincible dodge roll, or Resident Evil 2 where I don't get any dodge and I just have to put up with it, or Bayonetta's quick witch time. Like, there's got to be more than 3 options.
I
Go ahead.
feel like I keep talking about this game, but one of the main reasons I like it so much is Horizon. I think the dodging in that is pretty good because you can't. There's no like weird kind of I dodged it so I don't get hurt. A lot of times you still get hurt, but you don't get hurt as much, because if you dodge it enough, you might still get tapped or whatever, but you don't lose your entire
And the
HP
way
and
they did
whatnot.
the animations, it looked
And the
So
animation
it,
is really
it
good.
looked really
so
good.
it,
Yeah.
so it's like damage scaling where like
Hmm.
if you dodge, it'll scale down the damage versus if you don't move at all.
Right.
Okay.
And Immortals has a dodge. It doesn't work like Breath of the Wild. You can just it's not like in Breath of the Wild if you're not dodging an enemy. I mean, he's just hopping left to right. But in Immortals, she
Yeah.
actually has a decent little dash dodge, and you do it like a couple. You only get right now. I can only do it twice in back to back, and it also takes your stamina. Um, but if you do a perfect dodge, it just slows the enemy down for a second. You might get a hit in that and then if it's a 3-hit combo, then you'd have to do it 3 times. It's really hard to pull off, and it works really well. It's not OP, and it doesn't leave them completely open because it has a topple system, where you have to build up this blue meter, and then it's not top but stuns them basically, and then you get like 5 seconds just to attack. So it's like you use the heavy weapon, it builds up the stun meter. If you use your light attacks, they're a lot quicker, and you're not going to get hit. You're going to be able to dodge easily, but it doesn't build up that stun meter. And I think that's a really cool combat system. I don't know any other game that's had that I've played. I'm sure it's been in something because I know Ubisoft doesn't. They borrow elements.
Do anything original?
No, but so it really doesn't feel like anything I've played other than the fact I'm using the right trigger to attack heavy. Like I think God of War has, where you're using the trigger to attack. There's not too many games.
What's that series where I can't remember the name of? I have the entire series. I think on PC. It was a great sale on Steam for it. But it's like you play like this Hispanic character, and it's like open world third person action game. You're on the island or whatever. I think Ubisoft got a lot of its elements of like tower. You go to a tower and you open up an area type stuff from it. I can't remember the name of it, and it's like it's one of the best like sandbox kind of third person action games. I think they're up to
Just
part
Cause?
4. Just Cause. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just Cause. And so when you're talking about Ubisoft borrowing, I think they borrow a lot from that Just Cause group, because I've seen a lot of stuff that they do come from them.
And what's up, Laker Link? He just joined the chat.
Laker Link,
Which I believe the Just Cause guys, I think they're the ones working on the Hogwarts Legacy, the Harry Potter game,
Really?
which is interesting. Yeah,
I mean,
That-
I don't know much
think
about the
it's
game, but
Avalanche.
it's if it turns like you said, if it turns out to what I hope it is, I mean that's definitely something I'm looking forward to.
definitely.
But since I brought up Immortals a couple times now, I'm just gonna give you a quick progress update. I'm like 18 hours in the game now, and I thought maybe I was gonna start getting bored of it. I was kind of it's definitely not Breath of the Wild. It doesn't. It's got the the layout of Breath of the Wild. You got kind of shrine type things. You got a stamina meter. You got an open world. But it really doesn't.
Is it as barren enemy wise as it looks? That's my thing.
No, I mean the enemies are kind of in areas where they're either. Here's the thing I loved about the game. You have this open world. You have these what are called vaults of Tartarus or whatever. Those are the shrine-like areas, and a couple of those have been absolutely fantastic. But then you have what's called a constellation puzzle. So you find an area, and it has a stone tablet, and you see like these dots, and then on the ground you have a 4x4 grid of divots for spheres to fit in. So then you have to go look around the environment, find these blue spheres, and put them in the right spot. But each sphere has a little puzzle around. You have to either break a wall, find a switch, light a torch to be able to go grab those sphere, and then you got to put the sphere in there, and then it just gives you these coins that you can use to upgrade your weapons. And then you might have an area that's got a little harp, and you listen to it. Then you got to find the big harp in that area and use your arrows to shoot the notes that you just heard, and that gives you stuff. Like, and then the enemies, there's just like some bears. There's some, I guess, lions in the game. There's some chickens that are kind of just random enemies, pigs and stuff that if you attack them, they will attack you. But then you have dudes with shields, dudes with swords. You have these flying falcon like creatures. You have these giant, not a minotaur, but giant, like, he's got horns and a face like a minotaur, but he's just got normal legs and stuff. Throws rocks at you. You got a lot of different enemies, and they're usually guarding either like a chest or something, a puzzle that you have to clear the enemies, and then you can progress with the puzzle. But there is a lot of areas where you don't encounter enemies, but it's actually, I feel, for the better, because then I'm like finding resources to make potions, getting to my destination. It's really about finding the puzzles in the world. And then there's been quite a few. There's some where you have to stand in a spot, shoot your arrow, if you've seen the guided, where you can steer the arrow, and if you have to go through these basically these things, these circles that are like in the environment, and then come back around and light a torch at the end. There's one, and then if you get that, you get those coins to upgrade your weapons too. So it's like there's a lot of different things to do, and so far I haven't, I've done a couple of ones over. I've done the arrow one a few times, and this constellation one, but I'm constantly like engaged and getting sidetracked, not because I see something in the distance like in Breath of the Wild, oh, I want to go there. Like, it's just, I just happen to stumble across this little area, this little destroyed town, and there's a little puzzle to do, and it's like I wasn't expecting anything like that. And the main story's fun. The main character's got, it's kind of witty. The writing's decent. It's not amazing. But then you have like this hub area where it's got a weight bench when you get enough lightning bolts, which are basically like the things you get in the shrine, the spirit orbs, and you can upgrade your stamina. If ambrosia is like some crystal, you find those throughout there, you can upgrade your health. If you get enough of them, then you can do potions, you can upgrade your weapons. It's kind of like a little hub area, like a home area. And I was not expecting it to be as addictive in the open world. I was just expecting to go through the story and have a Breath of the Wild clone, but I really don't even rarely get that Breath of the Wild feeling while I'm playing it. So I would recommend, if it's on sale again, I don't know what it's going for right now. I think I paid $30 for it.
I was gonna say, I think it's still 30.
If I paid 60, I wouldn't have any issue with what I've played so far. Like I was telling in the chat, Clocked It replied, I think Robert saw it. I'd say it's probably my second favorite open world experience. Yeah. As far as the game, it hasn't proven itself to be my second favorite open world game. But the open world itself has been really fun and really engaging, and I'm having a blast. And then like the wings, once you get upgrades, so you can actually fly, like kind of slightly dive and fly forward and get further on your stamina. And there's upgrades for your gear and all that. So it's really good. And there's not any, like, I haven't encountered anything even close to looking like a glitch or a bug or a quirk. It's just really polished. And the music, same guy who did Ori.
What are you playing it on?
PS4. And it's a great game. And I was not looking for it at all. Even the Gods and Monsters or whatever they first announced it, whatever, it's Ubisoft. I don't care. Then they had the trailer for the new name, and it was like, it wasn't what I was expecting. And then I played the demo on Stadia. That's why I did the trial. And then it was the Switch Up. Was it Mark? Mark from Switch Up, man. He praised that game 2-3 different videos, especially after they patched it on Switch. And I'm like, man, I'm going to give it a chance. So I would definitely recommend it. I know it's, there's a lot of other games to play and stuff, but I would recommend it.
Oh, I definitely will play it for sure. I do want to play it. I'll be playing it within the next few months for sure.
Yeah, I didn't want to. Turned it on, and I was like, well, I'll just do a little bit, and then I want to go back to Hyrule Warriors. I played for like 3-4 hours straight on Saturday or Sunday. and I did not turn on Hyrule Warriors. I was like, no, I just couldn't stop playing it. So it's got me and it's hooks. And I've only unlocked a third of the map, like as far as where I can see it when I bring up the map. So it's huge, which I think it's going to be like a 100-hour game. And Captain Toad, apparently, I don't know if that's still happening. It was $4 digital at Walmart.
I saw it stopped at like 1 p.m. apparently.
Oh, how did you find out about that?
I was just scrolling on Twitter, and then like one of the Twitter accounts I follow, they had Cheap Ass Gamer, and they said, hey, it's $4, whatever, and I tried, and it canceled right away through that link, and I was like, oh shit. I'm like, you know what? Let me go to the Walmart app, because I'm sure a lot of people they're probably blocking off that link, because they was using that link. So I went into the actual Walmart, and lo and behold, you see $4. I click it, I buy it, and it says my orders it's like back ordered or something, or was that the word? Yeah, back ordered.
Was it digital or physical?
It was digital, and so I was like confused. I was like, wow, okay, for a digital game, and then all of a sudden,
that's weird.
Like an hour and a half later, I got a code sent into the damn email, and it was $47. I was like, hell's yeah, which is great because I totally forgot there was DLC for that game. And so it came with the game and the DLC.
What was the DLC?
Yeah,
it's like a full another book. You know how they have the books.
Yeah.
So it's like another book essentially. And then I never played the Odyssey level, so I'm like, for $4, hell's yeah. I was
that's what I would have got it for, Odyssey level.
Yeah, the Odyssey levels in the DLC.
If I wasn't at work, I probably would have.
I was like, man, what a beautiful game, and I'm like, could have been a sequel with that book, Could have just expanded more. They could have just made a sequel, but fucking
exactly. Fine. Like, we'll talk about that with Bowser's Fury. It's the same kind of concept.
Yeah.
So let's see here. We'll go to Lightning since he's in the chat. Let's see if we can get a question that I don't have to decipher here.
Why did you have that on hand, T? That's what fucked me up.
What is it?
T, it was like 5 seconds. I didn't even see his hands move. All I saw was
what do you have?
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I was playing a ton of Wii U this weekend.
Oh, okay.
You
see my tweets on hand. Shit.
Wii U Sunday.
I have the digital version on Wii U. I was still in that digital deluxe program window where I bought all those games. All right, so Lightning.
Here you go, Terrell. There you go.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I bought that shit digital too.
GGG.
All right, Lightning. Do you think Terrell will actually complete into any main campaign or story structure without dropping it like always, thus never completing it?
He wants to roast me for not finishing. He's roasting me for not finishing games.
I regret reading that out loud.
Even though he just finished the game. Yeah, come on.
Today.
2 games.
No, Shantae was today. Resident Evil was
and Age of Calamity.
Well, yeah, that's been over a week ago. So technically 3 games in 2 weeks.
But that's what I'm saying. Three video games. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Real quick. Back to back to back.
By the way, it's just your.
Well, I said I was gonna do it, although I still don't think I have enough to do the Game of the Year thing.
What have you beaten?
I did Age of Calamity. I did Resident Evil 3. I did Shantae.
To beat a game, to put on your top 5.
The only other. I haven't played Ori and Will of the Wisps yet.
There's still time. I think we're gonna make it February 1st.
You really want me
to moving it seriously?
Honestly, I need more time with the mortals.
I'll play Ori then.
Wait, how long is Ori?
It's
at least 37 hours.
No, it's at least 10 hours.
It's probably
I can do Ori.
That's if you don't.
11 or 12 for me.
Yeah, that's if you don't get stuck and you don't skip cutscenes. I mean, obviously you're not. There's not a ton.
Let me check.
I think it's 11, 12.
But it's one of those games too where
a couple days.
I don't like to binge play Metroidvania style games because when you get stuck, it's just pointless to keep trying. You gotta come back the next day and with a fresh.
Really?
I do.
I think I played through Metroid Prime in a day, or Metroid Prime. Super Metroid. I played that in one sitting.
Yeah. So Terrell, how did you figure out? You were stuck with Carlos, weren't you, in Resident Evil 3?
So it's the hospital section. It was when it's around the point where they introduced the hunters, and I didn't realize they had a one-hit kill move. And when you see the move doesn't. It doesn't even. There's no real warning for the move. Essentially, he does the move, and then it cuts to an animation of you getting slashed, and then you're dead. And I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. And my issue was that I had ran out of bullets, and I had to get down the hallway on the second floor to fucking get back down to get the vaccine for Jill. And I'm like, if I
so you were stuck in a spot where it was like you had.
So yeah, it's that save room. It's that save room in the hallway. So what I did is I saved. I went and like cheat killed a couple of them. I had a little bit of bullets in my machine gun, so I killed one by using the punch, and then I used like a flash grenade and killed it. And then I ran back to the room and saved, and then ran back down. It took me about 3 tries, and I got down there. I finally got the vaccine, and luckily there's a bunch of bullets in that room where all the shit's at. I was like, oh, thank God. And then I didn't realize that he had a gauntlet section in the hospital right afterwards. I'm like, oh. And I was like, all right, fuck it, we got to do it. I actually streamed it, so you actually can see the whole thing on Twitch.
I wonder what you did, though, because I had so much freaking ammo in that game. Like,
really?
I was just like, I'm going to have to play it on harder difficulty because it was just ridiculously abundant. Like, I couldn't take anymore because I had so much. Like,
yeah, I had a lot of bullets throughout my whole playthrough.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that. So
I was fine. Jill, I was fine. Carlos, not so.
You probably
much.
were just a little heavy on that assault rifle.
I had he didn't really have another weapon for me to use except for that. I think he has like a normal gun, but that was about it. But like once I switched back to Jill, then I'm oversaturated with items again, and I'm like, all right. So I actually was like, I was wasting ammo towards the lighter end of the.
Yeah, you get so many fucking explosive rounds. The flammable rounds to take the Nemesis and
so like, but the whole experience, I think I was overall happy with, but I very much still think if you ask me which one I'd rather go back and replay, it's probably 2.
Yeah,
I'll replay the shit.
2 I replayed immediately. Like 3, I'm like, I'll start another game, and I haven't gone back.
I really enjoyed.
You know what the problem is? The beginning of 3 is fun. It's the latter half of 3 I don't care about, because the beginning part of 3 is very much like 2.
It's not bad, but so
no, it's not bad.
Just to count for me, I know Robert's he has too many to name, but Flight Simulator, you can't beat Flight Simulator. I mean, you just play it. So I count that's a 2020.
No, man, you haven't beaten you have to fly around the whole world.
Resident Evil 3.
Fuck out of here.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Doom Eternal. Last of Us Part 2. Age of Calamity. That's 6. And then Immortals, I plan on at least finishing the story, which would be 7. Am I missing something? I think that was it. So 7's going to be top. I honestly, I have Streets of Rage 4 downloaded on PC through Game Pass. I mean, that's a 45 minutes playthrough. I know that's not the whole point, but I could play the game.
It feels like we're scraping the bottom of the barrel, though, in that situation.
I could play the game, but for some people, that made Game of the Year.
It's really great. Apparently, it's a great.
John Lennon.
No. I mean,
Streets of Rage 4 is dope.
I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, but I'll be able to play all the levels once at least.
It says it's 3 hours. The average time is 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
Pretty long.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Also, I looked up Ori. Ori's like 12 hours, according to.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought. Probably did probably 12, 13 hours, something around there.
I could
I'm gonna knock out Ori this weekend in 2 play sessions.
Damn.
See, I have honestly, I really don't know which games you've played in 2020. I know you buy a lot. I just don't know what specifically you've sat down
you
and put some
secretive
time
bastard.
in. So I don't want you to spoil it because I'm really just
I'm
completely in the dark. Like honestly, I have no.
Good.
I know you played Animal Crossing. I know you bought Paper Mario and started it, but other than that, Age of Calamity, I know you put some time in, but
20 hours.
Yeah, I'm having trouble keep going. Like I thought that was gonna be a 100-hour game, but I'm really it's really been struggling to try to keep. It's got a lot of.
That's a grind.
There's a lot of grinding needed for items that you have to just get randomly in levels.
To be fair, that's all.
What game?
Age of Calamity.
Age of Calamity.
Because apparently there's a cool little ending.
Yeah.
If you repair if you find these parts for this thing, and but I'm at 16 out of 50, and I'm like, oh my god, like I've already spent 5 hours on this. So
I'm glad I took a break to go finish Resident Evil and Shantae, because I knew the Warriors games will always be a grind if you want to like get everything.
and there's 2 characters. I don't know if it's just actual new characters because Cray's not trying to spoil it. I did see Zelda had like her winter outfit on one of his screenshots. I don't know if you get the ability to change her.
Yeah, I got her winter outfit.
Do you? I didn't.
Yeah.
I guess I've never looked at her to customize.
Yeah, you get the option to change costumes once you beat the game.
Oh, okay.
So when I beat it, you can put her in a winter outfit. Her moveset's still the same, but you can get her in a winter outfit.
That outfit for some, I don't know what it is about that one, but that's my favorite.
Wait, so are you saying there's more characters to unlock?
He says there's 2 more surprise characters that he's at like level 100 on a lot of his characters.
I'm gonna ask you which ones you have in your game and see if
I have 16 characters.
Hold on a second.
Wait, Juice.
Let me go get my game real quick.
Which Game Pass you have? Do you have
PC Ultimate?
For
Ultimate
so
has it both.
Technically. So technically it's both. Okay.
So I've downloaded Alien Isolation, Doom Eternal, Quantum Break.
Have you played Quantum Break at all?
I just was gonna start it. I really want to get a Series X so I can play it on my upstairs on.
But I guess you want to also play like a game that came out this year, so you could.
Yeah, but I just mean for this year. For 2021, I definitely want to finish Quantum Break while I have Game Pass, and then I download Doom Eternal, and I was like, oh, I can play this with the DualShock and get gyro. I'm like, shit, it's on Xbox. It's not on Steam, so I can't. So.
What's up?
I was hoping I could play Doom Eternal on PC.
I'm looking through this
with
list
the
to see
DualShock, so I can have gyro, but it's on Xbox. Nice.
I mean, I got 2020 games
sealed.
I want to play, but I'm like,
nice.
I'm trying to wait on my Series X, yo. I want to play this.
Are you buying that soon-ish?
As soon as one becomes available, I feel like he's gonna buy it. If I see one and I don't even have my phone on me, I'll buy it just for T. Like, cause at this point I spent too much damn money on my PC case and all that. I can't be buying no Xbox unless we get another $2,000.
Did you get your 6 yet?
Oh, I got it the day after New Year's Day.
You must be direct deposit.
Yeah. That's why
it took me a week.
That's why I did all this case PC bullshit, because that shit adds up, because I had to buy a USB 3 cable extension, I had to buy SATA power extensions, straight SATA cables. Fucking that shit added like $30-$40 on this. I had no idea I was gonna need, and I'm like, Jesus. And luckily my buddy had some RGB RAM. He traded me for my old RAM, otherwise I was gonna have another $100.
How long is Hades?
That's like apparently like
it's a longer game,
18,
right?
18 to beat.
Wow.
It,
I hear so many good things about it. I see it,
I hear a lot
and
of
I'm
good
like,
things, yeah.
There's nothing about what I'm seeing looks fun. It's probably fun to play. It just doesn't grab me.
I'm sure when you're in it. It's
I don't really like the I don't really like the perspective.
It's always better when you're in it.
Also, boo.
I'm not a huge fan of that camera perspective. And
I was gonna say also, I'm at 16 characters too.
yeah,
So I imagine.
I bet we have the same.
Yeah, it's probably all the plot ones plus I think 2 or 3 bonus ones you can get.
Do you have one that's a pretty large character? You can't see anything behind because she takes up half the screen.
Oh, you're talking about the one that has no legs?
Yeah. That one's annoying. You can't see what the fuck you're fighting. You can't do any dodging because you just can't see.
It's one of the weirdest character choices. And my brain took me a minute and went, oh, all right. Okay, cool, I guess. I'm not using...
All right, we got to get to... There's a couple questions left that I wanted to get to. Malik asked, the Game Boy Advance sold 80+ million in its lifetime. If the DS came out in 2006 instead of 2004... would the GBA have hit 100 million? Pretty likely, I think. That's a random question, but
yeah,
I always thought it was weird how when the DS came out, it came out like what 2-3 years after the Game Boy Advance in the US.
Yeah, you know why? It was worried about the PSP. That's why they came out.
And they weren't. It was the third pillar. It wasn't going to replace the Game Boy. Yeah, it fucking was.
Well, they were like, Sony is, they spanked their ass in consoles. We can't give up the ground to them in handhelds, and we're done. So they had to push out something.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know they went with the Game Boy Advance Micro, and that was this terrible idea. I would have loved a Game Boy XL, Game Boy Advance XL with a backlit color screen. Like, there were some great games on there. It was just hard to fucking see them and play. Like, there was no ergonomic Game Boy Advance, really. I mean, it was a small. The original version was tiny. The SP, I didn't mind too much, but
The SP literally was that, except it just wasn't as big.
it was cool.
I like the original GBA. I like the original.
If it had a
design of it.
backlit screen, it would have been.
If it had a
would've been
backlit
fine.
screen,
Yeah, the backlit screen was the main thing with it. But yeah, I like the SP a lot. I still say the SP is the best.
Yeah, I
version.
love the SP. Don't get it twisted. It's not as comfortable, obviously.
But I
it
think
was,
if they would have came out with
very convenient.
But I like it because you can tell it was supposed to be the precursor to the DS because it was like, when we start doing these clamshell designs.
Yeah.
A Game Boy Advance XL would have been. I think that would have pushed them to 100 million.
Probably.
I never had an Advance. I had an Advance SP, but I feel like the Advance seems more comfortable. But
yeah. In your hands, it is. The SP just had.
You can't see shit.
When you gave me a backlit screen on the SP, everything else was irrelevant to me.
Yeah, it didn't matter at that point.
Also, you didn't have to put batteries in it anymore. That was the other thing.
That was another huge thing.
That was huge. That was huge.
Oh, you had to put batteries for the Advance. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the original Advance, you had to put double A's in it. And we were like, holy shit, it's funny that the fucking we got away from batteries in the fucking handhelds only to put them back in our Wiimotes when the Wii came out.
Yeah,
and apparently Xbox has a ongoing long-term deal with the Duracell. That's why they keep.
Exactly. I said that. I said they must have a deal with the battery companies.
It doesn't surprise me, but it pisses me off because it's such a waste of.
It is stupid. I hate fucking I hate putting batteries and throwing them away.
It wasn't because of that or something.
I don't know, but
they're such wasteful. They're so wasteful.
I gotta get to Malik's second question because I completely disagree. Mila Kunis. How do you guys feel about Resident Evil Revelations games? Mediocre trash. That's how I feel about them.
About what?
Revelations games.
I think they're great handheld games.
The first game was a good handheld game, not a good console game. The second game had some good elements. I really liked switching characters to like have to solve a puzzle. It was instant. It gave me some Last of Us vibes. When I played it on the Switch, and I was like, man, this it's kind of scratching that itch having a companion character, and but it just I couldn't finish either game, man. They just really just got long in the tooth, and I was just like, I'm not feeling it. They're not polished. Well, the first game was for the 3DS, but it's just clunky. It's to me the best example because he says they're both top games in the series and ironically more traditional than today's mainline games. I think the Resident Evil 2 remake is exactly what the Resident Evil series should be in 2020, 2021. Like, just make a new game with that style.
And the irony is bringing up Revelations is that if we're sticking to that Capcom link that came out, we're getting another one. We're getting another Revelations game.
Yeah. But it might be more in the traditional. I mean,
maybe they'll do it in the style of Resident Evil 2 because having a more traditional control, but still like a third person, free to move around, 3D environment. But Resident Evil 2 for me is just like, it's the definitive Resident Evil experience because it takes everything I loved about the original game and Resident Evil 4, and combine them together. And it's just like, it is atmosphere to just the camera perspective was perfect. I mean, there's nothing I would change other than having a little bit of a dodge in the first, in 2 that they added in 3, make it maybe less effective or something, but
we'll bring back the bad voice acting and the translations. You, the master of unlocking.
bring back the camera. Well, Revelations doesn't have the locked camera where it
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, because Revelations 1 was amazing that it was on the 3DS because it's like this is a full 3D Resident Evil, but it plays like the original. like style
Yeah,
with tank controls.
Revelation is closer to 4 than anything.
Yeah, and even Resident Evil 2, you hold down, you don't turn around and run at the screen, you back up. Like it has a very tank control ish, but it just feels way better. It's way more refined.
Is anyone, speaking of Resident Evil, since we're on that, is anyone going to watch that showcase that comes out on the 21st?
I'll watch it.
Yep.
I'm interested because I didn't love 7, but mostly because of the beginning area with that the family in the house. I didn't mind it once you got out. I'm curious what they're gonna do with Village, not 8. Remember, even though they keep highlighting the V and the 3.
Highlighting the V and the 3 eyes.
It's 8. We're not doing this.
It's so 8.
It's 8,
Well,
but they're
showing you
they're just
wording.
mixing it.
Yeah.
All right, so Deku Tree asks, and then we're gonna get to the Bowser's Fury trailer.
Oh, that just reminded me of what I was trying to remember as a trope of video games that needs to go away. Beautiful. Rebooting the fucking game and just naming it what the original game was called.
Oh,
God
yeah.
of War.
Yeah,
That
like
shit needs to die.
Oh,
They did that for movies too, with Halloween.
And movies
There's
do
3
that shit
Halloween
too.
movies.
But video games,
Yeah.
Tomb Raider, all this shit. Stop doing that shit. Okay.
Give it a subtitle name or give it a number.
Yes.
Give it, yeah, that's stupid. Because when I say God of War, when I say Tomb Raider, which one?
Yeah, I was like, which one? I'm like, which one are you talking about?
Imagine if they come out PS5, Uncharted. It just says Uncharted.
I wouldn't be surprised though.
I'm sure they would do that. It would piss me off.
Nintendo doesn't do that, thank God.
They put new
No,
in front of shit.
They put new in it. I like
Yeah,
that.
but we don't like that either.
Super.
We hate that shit too.
Bro, yeah, I'd rather take that. Dude, name it New God of War, yo. Imagine
Oh,
that.
man.
All I had to do was,
So
That would,
fucking
be,
hard.
that would be an appropriate title for it in context.
At least you know it's new.
Yeah,
Not God of
New.
War. PS2 and shit.
just God of War,
new Tomb Raider.
something Atreus, whatever his name is,
Well, the weird thing
something.
is that God of War is technically, from what I've heard and from what I've heard from fans, God of War technically ties in with the other games still.
It
So it's
does.
like,
It exists
so
after 3.
so there's no reason to call it God of War.
Yeah, so that's
That makes even less sense.
God of War 4.
It's not even a reboot.
Wii music reboot, yeah.
Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2. Like, it's just called Resident Evil 2. When it's Resident Evil 2 remake, it's a remake of Resident Evil 2. But
That's
it's like,
true, actually.
there's no word remake on that box art, yo. Same thing with Resident Evil 3, but at least
Yeah.
with Resident Evil 3, the full name for the original is Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, This one removed the word. So
it is that game. Like, it's obviously reimagined, but at least it's that game.
Yeah, it's not
new
like
Resident Evil 2.
It's
it's
like
not Resident Evil
completely
2, and it's completely. It stars fucking
Yeah.
Jill Valentine or
Yeah.
some new character. It's Resident Evil 2. Still, it's just
See,
a
now
new
I want
version.
that. I want that new Resident Evil 2. Have the bright yellow thing. New Resident Evil 2.
I'm actually I hope the rumors are true. Like Resident Evil 4 redone. I think as long as they find a way to clean up that AI, that stupid president's daughter bullshit. Like she's really the only thing I did enjoy. Even my first playthrough. Like I hated her most of the time. She was annoying, but that's gonna be a tough solve. Maybe they'll find something they can do there. But I
I'm
would.
surprised they're not doing the first one. I thought they'd do the first one.
Well, technically, they already did that one.
Yeah, maybe
No,
they.
not in this way.
Would
Not
that
in
be
this way,
something
like,
if the next one was just Resident Evil, and it's a remake?
Resident
Oh,
Evil,
fuck.
yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
The second remake of Resident Evil, and because the movie's coming out, supposedly it takes place for the first and second game, and
They already had that.
wasn't Resident Evil 2 movie had Raccoon City? That one's so bad though. Like
Yeah,
I know
it had
the
elements of 2 and 3 in
2 was to go from 1, which was decent, nothing to do with Resident Evil, but it was a decent kind of horror movie, to go to just this cheesy, low budget ass looking, like bad acting, bad actors. Like Resident Evil 2 was just so stupid. They had Jill, and I don't even remember who played Jill.
They were like side characters and shit.
Doom. That's another one. Doom.
Yep, Doom did it.
Yeah.
New Doom, dude. New Doom.
All it had to be was
that's right.
fucking
We just call it Doom 2016, but it's just Doom.
Yeah, it's just Doom in the comics.
Final Fantasy 7. At least they put remake in there, even though they didn't put part 1. At least they
That's not
put.
part one.
At least they put fucking remake.
Not really remake. It's more like reimagined fucking assholes.
All right,
I mean,
so here's the question from. I gotta look closer here. I mean, I've read it before and I got it right, but we'll just say Scar. So here's the question: did Bowser's Fury trailer change anyone's mind about getting 3D World plus Bowser's Fury?
Yeah. It made me think about getting on an emulator.
It went from a absolutely no to fuck $50 at Walmart. It's gonna be tempting. It's gonna be tempting. To then I thought about it and I was like, well, there's the Switch emulator. There is that, and maybe Nintendo will release it separately. But it did change. It blew me away, my expectations. And I wish Retro was here. I'm gonna shit all over him right now, though.
Yeah, I saw his reaction.
His reaction.
Video, and then I saw y'all talking back and forth in the fucking.
He described
hangout.
Literally, this is what he said. Like in 3D World, the last world with Champions Road, it's gonna be like that. A small hub world with 4 levels, and then like a boss fight. And then he sees this giant open area, and he's like, "Oh, this is smaller than what I said." I'm like, "You said a 3D world like hub world, which is literally a single screen, basically, maybe 2 screens wide, with 4 3D world levels versus this giant area that's smaller." Like, are you fucking kidding? You just either you did a bad job of describing what your expectations were, or just because I was not last week I asked the question, but I don't think we really delved into our predictions to the point. Mine was actually 4 levels, and they showed the 3D like camera panning through like the arches with the cat ears in that initial reveal. So I thought it was going to be a open, like a Odyssey kind of small hub world, not the 3D world like top down world. And I thought you'd go off in 4 directions. There'd be a portal or something. You'd go to a level, get something, and you come back, go to the next one, and then it would unlock the final Bowser fight, tough level or something. So in my mind, what they showed, what it actually is way bigger as far as the environment and what you're doing is way bigger than what I expected. And it kind of looks to me, and I was going to do a Juice Opinions, and I ended up I was going to do a test and then do my Juice Opinions. I ended up just playing Breath of the Wild for an hour. I was going to do a video. Well, let's get everybody else's reaction first. Yeah, before I go on all in. Terrell, what was your like expectations? Because I know we didn't kind of all give our expectations last week versus what the actual showed in the trailer.
My expectations is I thought it would at least be decent amount of content. I wasn't really sure what direction. I thought it'd be like another section to the main world. I mean, in a way, and I'll just say, moving from what I thought it was going to be, I was genuinely blown away when I saw it, and I was like, fuck. It was one of those moments where I was like, oh, that's hard.
You were like, fuck, I wish Sonic games could be this good.
I hate you so fucking much.
I wish 3D Sonic could be even half this good.
And then what made it worse is when I found out, because my friends were like, they were like, "Oh yeah, but then shut up, T."
Come on, it's a great game. Yo, Lost World is awesome.
And what made it worse to me is when I found out, I was like, there had been rumors that the game was gonna have online, and then they confirmed it in the thing, and and my friends were like, "We gotta get the gameplay online." I was like,
peer pressure.
And I was like, no. I said, I'm still thinking about it. So like where I'm at right now is if I see it on sale between
sale.
You ain't gonna see a sale till fucking next year, 2022.
I know. I listen.
Black Friday.
Listen. This is the emotional compromise I'm making with myself. Okay, I recognize it's not likely. I'm just letting you know this is because technically I'll have games to play in the next month or so anyway with Bravely Default. So it's not like I need it when it comes out. At the same time. And then I found out that you can play Bowser's Fury from the get-go, and I was like,
yeah, of course, I would suspect.
And I was like, damn it! See if it was a situation where I had to go through the whole game, I'd be less. I'm like, I could.
It's 2 adventures. It's 2 adventures in one. It doesn't say 2 games. It says 2 adventures because It's definitely not a full
So
game.
I'm very much more tempted than I thought I was going to be to get it, especially since I like 3D World more than Odyssey personally. That's me.
Robert, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I saw that shit. I was just mad. I was like, God damn it, this looks good, yo! Holy shit! And the thing is when you think about it, like the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, okay, this is gonna be shorter than I think. And then the description from Nintendo themselves said a short but sweet adventure. I'm like, ooh, okay, so it's definitely gonna be short. And I was saying if it hits 5 hours, I'm in.
Yeah, that's what we did say last week.
I think it's gonna be 2 hours or less, but I will 100% get this. not like day one, but sometime before I die, I'm going to buy this game. Like it's just,
in this climate, that's not the best thing to say, buddy.
all right,
it ain't gonna be much cheaper, that's for sure.
Sometime before now and before the
In the
next
end of
console
time.
comes out, I'll probably pick up 3D World
Shit,
plus Bowser's Fury, and I'll definitely play it. Unless it becomes a launch title for the next one, 3D World Deluxe, Bowser's Fury-ness.
No, that's gonna be Odyssey.
Oh shit, Odyssey Deluxe. But yeah, I think for sure I'm picking it up. It looks great. It looks really good, and man, just so intense with the whole, Godzilla Bowser. Oh shit.
That music.
But again, the music. I mean, fuck, man. Again, one day, it won't be. I went as far as said this year, but then I was like, all right, hold on, let's back up, because in the end of the day, in the end of the day, like I'm like, it's not. It's the more I see it, I'm like, all right, it's gonna be shorter than I even think. And if Nintendo says it's short, I think it's gonna be pretty short. So
like Astro's Playroom or shorter.
If it's Astro's Playroom, I would purchase it because I think Astro's Playroom I played about 5 hours. I probably played about 5 hours of Astro's Playroom.
But would you
Actually,
pay $60
Yeah.
Well, I 100%ed Astro's Playroom earlier. Fucking awesome game, right? It really is damn good.
I love how he skips.
Would you pay $60 for it?
Oh no.
It was sitting on the shelf. Astro's Playroom, $60. Would you buy that shit?
He did buy Sackboy for, what was that, 50?
Well,
40.
No, but
Where did that game go? I
What?
feel like you streamed it once and we never heard about it again.
Well, the game came out. Think about it. The game came out. When did it come out? I'm gonna play it eventually.
Well, you can
It's
play
like
the
a
PS5 version now.
November. Yeah, exactly. I can play the PS5 version. I think that game's longer.
I love how Robert,
I think it's
all these games that he said, I'll play,
I know,
I'm going to do
hold
my
on.
game of the year in June. But Astro's Playroom, just boom, 100% that motherfucker.
Well, because hold on. Well, to be fair, dude.
Convenient as shit.
I got a PS5. I gotta play
And you
it.
probably haven't played a
I
game
gotta-
on the PS5 since, have you?
I mean, I've been playing. So
Damn.
if,
Damn.
What have you played on your
if you know what I'm saying,
PS5?
you know what I'm saying? But like it's
Name the games you played on
Yes,
your
we
PS5.
know what you are saying.
I can't.
Why?
You know what I'm saying?
You're exposed, bitch.
You know
You're
what I'm saying?
exposed.
Why can't, I don't know why. Why can't you?
You're exposed, bitch.
I
Huh?
haven't heard that in a while.
Let him talk. I'm curious why he can't tell us.
Because I'm back in the logness,
Oh,
You're playing a backlog game on your PS5? Is it a PS4 game though? Because I
Pay
mean,
$600 to play games you can already play.
Hold on. To be fair, it runs better because I have the base PS4.
That's true.
Just the reason I'm getting the Series X is so I could play bad
Yeah.
in better condition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I'm getting the Series X. I'm just talking shit. Obviously.
I'm waiting to get I'm waiting to play Days Gone till I get a PS5 someday. It's fine,
Why
but
is the Days Gone better? Is it enhanced?
it's got a 60 frames per second and
Oh shit!
cleaner look to it. It's not a bad looking game, but it's just nothing I need to like. I played it that one day for an hour and a half. Didn't like grip me to keep playing. And we forgot to talk about Pokemon Snap.
Snap.
Oh, yeah,
Pokemon
yeah,
Snap.
There wasn't a whole lot to
good.
talk about. But let me get
it has a
T's.
release date.
Let me get T's
Oh, yeah, go
reaction to the Bowser's Fury. You already kind of said you were gonna emulate it now, but
I'm talking shit. I don't know. It's like so. I was just looking to see how much I can get for 3D World on Wii U. $20.
Mm,
That's basically what I can get. Then there's a $10 discount at Walmart, so we're talking $30. I'm still not there yet, even at $30.
no, really.
I mean, because it does look really
Yeah.
good. It does look really good. But I'm gonna be dissatisfied if it's so short. When I'm finally like when I'm really getting, I hate that when you're just starting to get into a game and that shit's over, and it's like, God damn, it's over.
Robert, you replying
I'm
to
worried
that
about it.
question?
Yeah.
Okay,
'Cause
wait.
you were talking about it in
I-
your video. I forget what you said's coming out in April.
Well, March is Returnal, and then
Oh, okay.
and then yeah,
And then Ratchet and Clank,
and
they
then I
said.
think Ratchet and Clank will come out right after, probably April. I'm sure.
All right, but here's my question to you: how long would it have to be for you to be like, it's okay at $30?
You know,
3
T's
hours?
gonna. T's
Can I
gonna
get
have-
3 hours? 4 hours?
And is it one of
Tops?
those things where
tops,
you
what?
could
3
rush
hours, a
through
good.
in a
I
couple
mean, I
hours?
paid fucking $60 for what was a special edition of
Scott.
Streets of Rage.
Mm.
And that game is 3 hours, but you have all the stuff you can unlock and all that stuff. But anyway, and it's a brawler, so you go back to it all the time. So it's a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, I think, can I get 3 hours? Can I get 3 hours? Then I'll pull that trigger.
Is it gonna be one of those games where you get the cat shines, I think they're called, and there's nothing else? Is there stuff hidden that I can go find? Is there green stars or green coins that can add an extra hour and a half?
I think so.
But so
Like, is it really just that hub? So I was hoping that it would lead to another level here, and
well,
can
somebody
I don't think
thinks
so.
people are speculating that like the areas that are covered in like the oil looking stuff could be maybe that gets cleared away and you have more. But it already looks huge to me. Like it's a pretty it's
that Bowser music is badass too.
Yeah, it is.
it's bigger than any Odyssey kingdom. Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, it looks to be, by my calculations, at least twice as big as the Desert Kingdom in Odyssey. I mean, it's huge. Maybe there's not a lot of stuff to do in between the main areas, but so here was my take, and I was gonna make a video on this. I was like, I'll just save it for the podcast. What they showed, Bowser's Fury, taking the 3D World power-ups and the environmental obstacles and stuff of 3D World, and adding like the Odyssey kind of camera and some of the Odyssey movesets. What I saw, no lie, could easily be the best 3D Mario game ever made with those two styles joined together. And it just makes me wish it was a fucking full game, because it looked so perfect seeing the Cat Mario running in a full 3D environment, even though I love 3D World for what I like the timed flagpole stuff, and I love that. I debate it, but it's right there, one or two of my top favorite 3D Mario game. But seeing that in that big, and it gives me the Breath of the Wild kind of feels of like, look at this huge world, this huge area. You could honestly make a Mario game, not that this is going to be it, but where you could just have areas that you just walk into the next area, like you could have like pathways or something where you have to enter it in a certain way. But I just like
with 3D World, like I think one of the most memorable favorite areas was that, I forget what level it is, but it's like a big open like field.
Yeah, the sunset
like
or whatever.
Sunsetting. Yeah, and it's just like, oh, I want more of this. I love 3D World, but it would be nice to have some of that cool big open world stuff where the camera's not locked it all the time. So
because I love the cat suit. I like the power ups.
I love the
3D
power-ups.
World, and like you can do like the dive. It looks straight out of Odyssey. And let's just to graphics horror for a second. Like that to me looks like the best looking Switch game. From just what we've seen in that trailer. I don't know what you guys think. I think it looks significantly better than Odyssey from a visual standpoint. Like just technically from that standpoint. Like I was blown away.
That 3D World art style is just, I mean, they nailed it, with that art style.
And that 60 frames per second, it just looks so fucking good. Like immediately I could tell it was 60 just from as soon as I saw like Mario running in the camera turn. I'm like, oh yeah, that's smooth. It just looks so clean. colorful. Like, I know some people are probably gonna want to leave a comment if I say this. Like this right here, this game alone makes me wish the Switch could do HDR, because this game would just be amazing. Like, just like Immortals. Like, I look at my screenshots I took and posted to Twitter. They look like the color saturation was turned out. Like, they look not even close to what I'm seeing when I play the game. And I would love for Nintendo to somehow get an HDR support. It doesn't have to do anything else. To just add HDR support to this game, and I guarantee you it would probably be one of the best looking games I've ever seen. It just looks. I just wish it was a full game. Like, I'm going to play it. The question is, am I going to buy it?
I'm going to play.
I'm going to play this no matter what, and it might even play it at the day or with the emulators. You got to worry that somebody's got to get it working first, and there's going to be a lot of bugs.
Yeah, you still have to wait for the.
So I'm going to have to wait. But I might cave, man. I don't know. Walmart's got that.
Nintendo, man.
Look at this Bowser. Look at this fucking Bowser, man.
They could have been so good to us, us core, hardcore Wii U Nintendo fans. They could have been so nice to us and given us discounts on some of this stuff. Man.
Or just a standalone game.
$30 max, Joe. $30 max. I'd buy it.
I have 3D World digitally.
Do 40. I would probably do 40 if you would.
40, fuck it. Yeah, sure. Me too.
You drop 20 off of it, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, I would buy it for 40.
They won't even extend the olive branch to us. It's like we don't even know this, and that's what pisses me off. Like, that's what makes me upset.
Because we literally are tied with their fucking Nintendo. I play
it's all tied.
Nintendo.
I can go on right now into my Nintendo account, and it shows all the fucking games because I registered them all when I got them, even the ones that weren't digital. So they know what I fucking bought, brand new, and it just pisses me off that they
just let me buy it as a standalone game. I have 3D World in my history. Let me just buy Bowser's Fury. Like, I'd pay $30 just for Bowser's Fury. Like,
me too.
I played 3D World so much, I don't know that I would actually go through the game again. I mean, I played through it twice, and 100% at the one did.
My 100% is on the Wii U. Like, am I gonna go and redo all that? No.
I wouldn't redo it by myself. I redo it online though. I say fuck it.
Honestly, I think when it comes out, I'm gonna play 3D World. Just be like, hey, yeah.
I started a third playthrough of 3D World. Actually, I never finished 100. I never got through all the worlds.
I'm on it. I have 3.
I have 65 hours in the game.
Yeah, I have 3 save files. So I got to delete one of them.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you guys know my obsession with Just Jess on YouTube. She does the best reactions.
Oh, we know.
She didn't fucking. We know. She, like a lot of people, she didn't expect it to be anything.
When is she going to be on the podcast, by the way?
I wish. She didn't do a Bowser's Fury reaction. I was on Twitter. I brought it up, and we actually had conversation about it. She was really bummed because she didn't think it was going to be anything, and I was like. I was looking for some genuine reaction because I was curious. After I saw it, I was like, man, am I the only one that was just like, holy shit? And I shit you not, the first 3 I clicked on, just random. They were all guys. I don't know anything about their channels. Everyone, the first 3. Yeah, I never played this game before, so this will be interesting to see. And I was like, thumbs down, And then one person actually knew the game or said he played the game. And like had no reaction until the end. He's like, "Oh, Super Saiyan Mario!" Like everybody said the same thing. Like no reaction to all the cool shit happening. And and I'm like, fuck you guys. But because I was curious what the internet was thinking. Like, am I crazy or did my mind get blown? Like.
Well, do you see the amount of views it got? It's like
I was just on it and I didn't even.
It could have just been.
Yeah, if this would have been a sequel. Game. Imagine if Bowser's Fury was just the next 3D Mario game, and they took 3D World and Odyssey, bundled them together, full 20, 30, 40 hour, Mario game. However, depends on what you need to do in a game. Some people just want to get to the end and beat it. Others, like myself, like to collect everything. 6.7 million views. Holy shit.
Dude, it kills me, yo. It kills me. It makes me so sad.
I mean, if this would have been a sequel, it would have been. They would have had another 15 million seller. They would have had another 15 plus million seller like Odyssey. And this might sell fucking 10 million. At least they put some work into it. Like I said, this is obviously the most work they put into a port since Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like a lot of work seemed to have gone into this whatever you want to call it, adventure. Like
Adventure.
it might. I wouldn't be surprised if they had over a year in development just in this. I mean, maybe
Hell yeah.
maybe a year and a half.
Well, that thing that got me a little excited is that I learned that, or we learned that the game got delayed. It was supposed to come out, or Age of Calamity's launch.
Yeah.
Age of Calamity was supposed to come out this March, which made more sense because obviously last year was 35th for Mario, this year 35th for Zelda, so it would have made sense because that's what they wanted to do. But it got delayed, so I was like, man, how much content is this game? Like how much is in Bowser's Fury? But we still don't know.
And I still have a
notoriously likes to hide shit right until the end.
I still have a big
Maybe, I
concern,
hope
which
so.
we haven't
I
even
hope
talked
so.
about. The fucking AI companion that can also be a second player controlled. I'm worried about that mechanic. Like,
Well, but is it actually legit an AI companion, or are they trying to show up the
It's-
2-player?
he's in every fucking shot. Like, there's no way he's
Yeah.
an AI player in some of these shots.
He can be 2-player, but I don't know.
I think he's the second player can just control him a bit when Mario is like stopped moving. I think when you're running as Mario, he's just gonna stay with Mario.
It's
And
gonna be like Sonic and Tails.
I'm hoping he's not like, oh, I'm gonna go kill all these enemies over here, like, and you don't have
Nah,
to do
I doubt
anything,
it.
It doesn't look like does he fight? I must
Yeah,
have
he
missed
is
that.
attacking enemies.
He attacks.
Oh, he
right
is?
here.
Yeah, he can.
Oh yeah.
The more I think about it, the more it just kills me. It's like, man, we were so close to a new 3D Mario this year, and imagine, dude, like literally next month they had a new fucking 3D.
Well, they
Mario
got to
this
rest,
year.
Robert. The 3D team, Mario team, has to rest. Remember?
I knew it was gonna happen.
I forgot they released the game 4 years ago. I forgot about that.
They're all
I mean-
cocooned right now. They're cocooning.
God, this
Maybe
has just
so.
been. I'd be
Maybe
so
2017.
hyped. And speaking of the online, we didn't talk about that either. Like, I seen people. Was it Nintendo Life? They didn't even fucking comment on the addition online. Like, I think they thought it was in the Wii U version. Like, they didn't even make one remark about it. I
remember that
Smash
being a
that
big
mode?
thing in the community.
Oh yeah,
was
that
like,
was a huge deal.
Why doesn't this game have online?
Shokio was pushing that fucking
Yeah.
I do remember that.
conversation.
Yeah.
Fake
Makes
Nintendo
sense.
fan.
And also,
Jesus.
Fake.
We gotta let some shit go, man. That's-
Damn
Well,
he's
I'll
not
say he
like
was
that.
fake in the regards that he was saying he was speaking because he was such a Nintendo fan, he could speak for the community. And I'm like, dude, you like Metroid and Smash. That's it. You're not a Nintendo fan.
But that doesn't
anyway.
make him a fake Nintendo fan. It just makes him conceited.
It just makes him. He likes two franchises, but his YouTube channel was pretty a decent amount of subs, and he felt like he could speak on behalf of the community. That's what bothered me.
He was representing the N-Dub Nation. Come
Well, I
on.
mean, the people he was around was like basically calling, any other Nintendo, channel or fans or whatever his children and shit. So it went to his head, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And then he was friends with all the haters, the Nintendo haters.
Yeah, that's
so
what.
he had
That's what I'm saying.
the black bonds and shit. But yeah, he was
Oh,
one.
man.
The 3D or the online, and I asked this question back then. And it was my defense. It wasn't. I don't think I was being a defendo. I think I asked a legitimate question. I'm on World 3. If fucking Robert's on World 5, what do we do when we play online? Does he have to replay World 3 levels with me, or do I get jumped ahead to World 5 and I'm playing them co-op?
So apparently, only the host keeps the progress.
So let's say Terrell's like, all right, I got you guys
Animal
jump
Crossing
in.
all over again.
He's on World 1, and let's say I got it and started my third playthrough. I'm up to World 4. I've already played these. Now I got to go back and play World 1. That was always the question I asked.
Yeah, but here's my comment on that. That would be an issue regardless, though, because like, what levels are we gonna play together if you're on World 4 and I'm on World 1? Either I'm gonna have to jump up to you and experience those.
Yeah,
new
that's
levels.
the problem. Like they need a
But that was the-
specific. I
yeah,
feel
but-
like they need a specific online modes to actually make a legit online Mario game. Like,
Well, I
work.
mean, I don't think it's a huge deal because some people just don't care. I think some people are like, we'll start the game together. The thing I don't like is if the host is the only one who keeps the progress, that means if I beat those levels with you and I haven't beaten those levels yet in my game, that means now I have to go back and replay those levels
Yeah, it
again by
gets kinda,
myself.
I think it would get kind of redundant.
That's my problem with it. Having it where the host keeps their progress.
Yeah, you know that's what it's gonna be. That's exactly what it's gonna be. We all know Nintendo. Come on, everybody is not gonna be sharing in that progress. It's gonna be whoever.
I just hope the connection's good. Like T said, I hope it's not Mario Maker
I just want
2.
to
Mario Maker 2 and shit.
Mario Maker 2.
Chugging along.
I just want to see.
And then Robert with his Wi-Fi back in the day, you had we're like, dude, why are you always lagging in Smash? And you're like, buy an Ethernet adapter. Oh, I thought it was plugged into an Ethernet. No, it doesn't have one. So I don't know.
So when did you get it? The fuck?
How'd you plug it in, bro?
I thought that's the power cord, buddy.
Yeah, it's not through the power cord.
And the Switch has the worst fucking Wi-Fi. Like it's sitting next to my PS4, and the Switch is pulling like saying I'm getting like 20 download speed. Now I have 400, but I had 200, and then the PS4 will say like 100 and something. The PS4's Wi-Fi. The Switch is wired.
Yeah, that's the hardware issue.
And even the Switch wired it caps out at like 30 or 40 out of my.
Because we're talking about some old ass USB.
Yeah, it's just there's a bottleneck there, and just the CPU and the whole memory bandwidth and just how, it's just there's a bottleneck. And
we're talking about Wii levels of internet here.
Yeah, basically, like, the fucking DS probably has the same Wi-Fi antenna as the Switch.
That's so bad.
That's
so
bad. The whole snapshot thing is really cool in 3D World, where you can actually place the stamps in the world.
I do like this.
That was a nice use for them. Yeah, that was a nice use for that. Considering we were like, really is that just gonna go away?
Considering we ain't got no Miiverse no more.
Well, yeah, that's the point I'm making.
That's a pretty decent alternative to just getting rid of the stamps.
It's a great alternative.
And anybody who follows me on Twitter and I've been posting a lot of Immortals shots where you can go to photo mode, and I was like, I could see myself doing that in 3D World, like in every freaking level, like adding those stamps and making a cool shot.
Still, I would like to put that in a Miiverse for sure.
That's a good question that Red has about, can we all be the same character? Or do we have to pick different characters?
That's an interesting question.
I'm saying no. I'm saying
I would assume no.
I'm thinking
because I ain't being no Toad.
Pick a different character.
I ain't gonna be Toad. God damn it.
Offline.
You're Toad 100%.
Remember when you were Luigi and Luigi had a cat suit and everybody thought it was a frog suit? We were all excited. I know I was excited.
Thought it was a what?
Thought it was a frog suit because his cat suit was green. Like I was like, the frog suit's back. Nah, bro.
I don't know how the hell I still see people like I saw people like predicting what Bowser's Fury was, and people were like, I think it would be great if a Wario and Waluigi would come out in okay, what does that have to do with like Bowser's Fury if you want Waluigi in this damn game? Get the hell out of here, yo.
Look, yeah, but you knew Waluigi. He's a trash ass character.
That was not going to happen.
Waluigi.
Why did you think that was going to happen?
You can't defeat the meme, T.
Like why would you predict that? Like that's obvious. There was no
sick of his bitch ass.
There was no hint. There was no like I think maybe Waluigi symbolized. No, there was no hint to it. It was Bowser's Fury. It was about Bowser. What the fuck does Waluigi and Wario have to do?
Here's the question I have.
So random.
We didn't talk about the little 7-minute. The next day they did the 7-minute breakdown. They went through and told you the traits of 4 of the 5 characters and completely ignored Rosalina, even though she's in the fucking footage right before they start talking about the characters.
I guess they don't. I guess because technically you don't get her until after you.
Still, they could have told her.
Well, here's a question though: will it all? Because Mario Kart, everything was unlocked, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Will it already be unlocked? Will all the special world and all stuff be unlocked?
I don't know.
I think for some casual gamers that think that there's only 6 worlds in this game, like maybe they could have it on the map as question marks or something, just to tease them that hey, there's more. Don't give up. After you face Bowser the first time.
I don't think you can really put it on the map because remember, you take a rocket to that.
Yeah, but they could change it so it's bigger map.
Yeah, but I like the aesthetic that you were fucking.
I love like Rosalina, but I couldn't. Her move wasn't. I was so used to Peach. I was, she's basically OP. I could not do like the Champions Road. I wanted to go Rosalina. I'm like, I can only do it with Peach, and then I did it with Mario with the Tanuki suit. I couldn't do just a straight character without the Tanuki suit.
I did it all. I dominated that road, yo.
God bless anybody. Maybe you're just too young, or maybe you just didn't buy one because a lot of people didn't buy a Wii U. God bless you, because goddamn, the Switch must seem like the greatest console of
That's
all
why
goddamn
people
times.
love it, man. You know what?
Like, if you didn't touch a Wii U, good God.
I forgot to bring up the first 3 reactors said they didn't play 3D World. The first 2 both said, "I'm so happy we're getting all these Wii U games on Switch." I mean, you would have swore they were the same person. They said the exact same thing to start their video. "I'm so happy we're getting all these Wii U games," and then I never played 3D World. Like, shut the fuck up.
Dude, I don't get that. I didn't play these games, so I'm so excited to play these games. Like, I didn't want to buy them before, but I want to buy them
Bring
now.
in Xenoblade Chronicles X. Like,
Oh yeah,
Again, it's one thing. Again, if you were like even like Robert's age, like when the Wii U came out, how old were you? 13, 14?
13.
13. Like, so maybe you were in your Xbox and you just Nintendo didn't do a good job of selling you a Wii U, so you can't be mad about that. So maybe maybe you're 20 now and you just never fucking played a Wii U before, and the Switch seems like God's gift. I can't knock that, but if you're you're an old school Nintendo fan, if you're 30 plus and you're calling yourself a Nintendo fan, I'm confused. I'm a little confused if you didn't get that Wii U and you act like it didn't exist.
It makes more sense to buy a Wii U today because again, you have not only that, but you could buy your fucking Xenoblade Chronicles X, and you can buy.
Or you can hack it.
Do that.
And you can hack that shit and play GameCube.
Dolphin
G-Games
emulator.
You have a bunch of Nintendo DS on it, played it, Game Boy, Nintendo 64, all that
it's
shit.
It's the ultimate Nintendo console. It is the ultimate Nintendo console.
It's Series X of Nintendo consoles right now, still. And it's like, come on, man! Like, just you open so many possibilities by just buying a Wii U now. Like, I don't understand. Like, you're like, no, I'm not gonna buy a dead console. Oh, I'm sorry, you
buy a used one. You can get one for like $150. They ain't that expensive right now.
That's what how they say the insecure vaginas, dude. That's what it is. I can't be seen with the Wii U.
I've seen it about 3 or 4 videos in the last month or so.
Dominates the Switch, bro. It ain't even close. It ain't even close, yo.
I just bought a Wii U in 2020 or 2021.
Yeah. I don't.
Well, yeah, that makes for good clickbait. Like,
I don't even think.
video.
I know
that's another thing that needs to die. That whole YouTube kind of style.
See, I would take the Wii U's original, the library of original exclusive games, small as it may be overall, over the Switch's massive library of 360 PS3 ports, collections like that, a bunch of shovelware indie shit, and bunch of good indie games too. But the Wii U had a bunch of good indie games, so I would rather have a smaller amount of just exclusive, high quality games than have this giant library of everything that a lot of games I've already played and beat that I'm interested in anyway. Like, I don't know. I know that's for some people. I know, Terrell, you said that you thought the Switch's library is vastly better than the Wii U. I guess if you're just looking at raw numbers and getting series that
I'm looking at raw numbers, and I'm also looking at as someone who didn't play a lot of some of these franchises that skipped the 360. Like, I didn't play BioShock. Well, I kind of played BioShock. I think I played part of the first game and that was it. Like, I have Borderlands on my Switch. Like, I didn't play Final Fantasy 7 until I bought my Switch. Like, it's sometimes it's easier to have all the shit on like one console. So I understand for you, Juice, because you had a 360 if I remember correctly. So you played a good chunk of these games that the ports are coming out for, and the ones you didn't, it's because you didn't give a shit about them. Like, so I understand your point of view. I'm just saying, for me, I rather it all be on one console. That way, if I want to try them out and try to play them, I have the option to. And because I was a Wii only owner until like 2010, and then I only played.
That's a fancy mouse you got there.
You did.
It's way cheaper, and you could get them right here on this device.
Oh no, that's true.
They're way cheaper.
Well, that's why I've been jumping back and forth.
I need a fucking wireless mouse. I got too many wires going.
That's
Oh,
what
I had a wired one, and I was like, I'm tired of this shit.
I don't
So-
game
Yeah.
with it, so I don't need no fucking precision, you know.
Yeah, but T, you're right in the sense that that's why I've been flipping between my Switch and my PC. That's why Resident Evil 3 is on the PC. It's like there are certain games I just went ahead and said, fuck it. All right,
Red
fine.
says Game Pass.
He's got Game Pass on PC.
I have it, but I have for some reason I just have no inclination to use it.
Why the fuck you paying for that shit then, bro?
No. I'm still in the 3 free months.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm in the same boat. I started Alien Isolation again. For some reason, it bring over my save file from the Xbox One. That was like a year ago though, and I'm like, this is a good game so far, even though I'm fucking stuck. Oh, I finally found where I had to go down a hatch, and I haven't seen the xenomorph yet, but I was like, it's great, but I'm down here at my computer desk after already sitting down here for a couple hours, and this chair isn't the most comfortable. I'd rather be upstairs, you know. So it's like, for me, and then my 1S is in my theater room for my streaming, and I tried gaming on it. It's okay, but the projector was never intended for serious gaming. So I mean, I could probably get through a game on there, but I'm just really want to have that Series X, you know, in the living room with my nice TV and stuff, and experience it all that way. But I did download quite a few games this time. I got it till the end of March, the Ultimate. So I got Xbox and PC, you know, and a lot of the EA games, exactly what I said. There's like 4 different NBAs and 4 different Maddens.
Jedi Fallen Order?
I don't think
Pretty sure
that's
that's
on PC. I think that's only on the Xbox.
Oh, okay.
I'll look. Pretty sure. Doom Eternal Control apparently is coming to PC, which I will play again on PC.
Ironically enough, I have Ori downloaded off of Xbox. I just literally haven't sat down and played it.
Dragon Quest 11. I was thinking about checking that out.
I at least do the couple. I would say if you can do like the first hour or two and see how you feel about it, because I think Dragon Quest.
I already put a couple hours on the demo.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Alan Wake, I probably wouldn't play that. Battle Chasers, Battletoads. I mean, if you're gonna try it, might as well try it.
No.
Bridge Construction Portal, that actually looked pretty fun back in the day.
I guess my issue always seems to boil down to is that because I'm under a time limit, it like somehow makes me less. I don't like being rushed into a game unless like I'm the one who's initiating it. When the service is initiating it for me, I'm like,
oh, this game.
I don't really want to. That and because I have other games to play. That's the other problem. It's just
the old adage. Somebody loans me a game or a movie versus I went out and spent money on it. I'm less inclined to like play it. It's weird.
Yeah, exactly.
Other people are the opposite. Like they get a deal like that, they're gonna play as much as they possibly can to get their money's worth, because they're there, you know. It's like, but I've said this many times. I got just so many. I watch a lot of TV shows. I watch a lot of movies. I can't see what he's doing.
He's hovering Pikmin 3. By the way, the deluxe version is now the best-selling Pikmin game in Japan.
Well, I already found that out. Yeah.
In Japan.
What game was I looking for? What game was I looking for? To see if it was on PC. Robert.
What did Robert say?
Fallen Order.
Jedi. Yeah, Jedi. Jedi Fallen.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta get to the S's then.
Yeah, I was just doing that. That was another thing I was trying to point out. Like for the Switch guys who never had a Wii U or whatever, that doesn't mean sometimes you're not playing it the best way. I'll put it like that, because I can't touch this game on Switch because I love having that gamepad and then my Wii remote and nunchuck. That's the way to play this goddamn game. Like this. That's the way to play it. So
yeah,
you're losing. I mean, you're losing a lot of control options a lot of times with these Switch versions of Wii U games, and I don't like that.
And there's like
I can understand that. For me, I think because most of you guys have Mario Kart as y'all's like one Wii.
I don't have it anymore, but I did buy it.
And the second kill, dude.
I think the only one I have that's from the Wonderful 101 is kind of a weird situation, but Bayonetta would be mine. and I very much don't regret that one. Although I do need to replay 2. I replayed 1, and 1 was fun, but I very much know I'm not gonna want to touch it ever again once I replay 2.
And
I was looking at Juice playing on the damn stream, and I was like,
you see the fucking pure platinum while I was talking?
You were out here. You were so proud of yourself too. That was so,
I was like, man, I thought I got hit. I didn't. And yeah, Super Lucky's Tale. I did play the demo of new Super Lucky's Tale on Switch. I thought it was fun. I wasn't gonna buy it because it's how short it was, but that's something I would definitely check out too. There's a few games on there. If you saw,
Deserta.
There are games on.
Here's the games I have in my library currently. So I have Doom Eternal, Streets of Rage, Alien, Ori, and the Blind Forest. No Man's Sky, which I didn't play. Forza Horizon 4, I own that game. Flight Simulator and Will of the Wisp, which I own. And like I'm not gonna get through No Man's Sky. I'm not gonna go through Doom Eternal again. I mean,
yeah, I think of the ones I have downloaded right now is Ori.
I wish I didn't buy Among Us though, because it's on here. Sorry.
Yeah, it's on game.
Yeah, like Royal Hustler pointed out,
Medium I'll be able to
Tokyo
play.
Mirage Sessions for sure. You want to play that on Wii U, as far as I'm concerned. Wonderful 101, like I love. If you don't care about that, you want to do, control stick drawing.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
$60 price.
Yeah.
What else did you say?
I felt bad for some of those games because I very much believe Tokyo Mirage Sessions needed.
You don't have to look down at the gamepad. I can play it. Just look at my 4K TV now.
Hey man, listen. For a lot of people,
everybody wants X. The way to play X is with your
I wouldn't pick that up.
Pro controller and a gamepad, and then play the game on the screen. That's the way to play X.
X to me has to be remastered to justify me fucking picking that up again.
And honestly, this is going to be the first time, unless you count Flight Simulator, which is why I got Game Pass originally on PC. Medium comes out, which is Xbox Series exclusive and obviously PC. That comes out on the 28th, and I'll be able to actually play a day one game that I'm like, somewhat interested in. It, the initial trailer had me more excited than the actual gameplay we've seen. But, I don't have to buy the game now to know if I like it. That's like the first fairly decent sized game to come out where I've had Game Pass and I didn't already play it. Game wasn't already out and I already maybe had played it or had a chance to play it. So it'll be interesting to see if I download that and play it that day or not. But it's the first time there's been a new release while I've had it.
Well, also one thing I will say is for Tokyo Mirage Sessions, you can either buy it for $60 on
Switch.
And on right now for a brand new copy on Wii U, $25.
Nice.
Just saying, you save actually more than $25. You save all that money, right? Think about it; it adds up to the point where you just buy a Wii U and you could explore a whole library of games.
Because Devil's Third is never coming to Switch ever.
And Fatal
If you want to play Devil's Third, you better get yourself a Wii U.
Oh, shut your ass up, T. Damn.
Yeah, what do you guys? I mean, we talked about this to death, and we got to get out. We're 10 minutes past. I just still see it to this day. There's a bunch of people didn't buy a Wii U. What?
I understand.
Ipster said that last week, and we're like, that's fine.
Okay, here's my point.
What about us?
Buy one now.
No. Here's my point. I feel like you probably wouldn't hear as much complaining about this situation if it was a proper correlation with if you gave me an old game, but it also got a new iteration in its franchise at the same time. Because I think realistically, would you give a shit if fucking Tokyo Mirage or Pikmin 3 came out if at the same time you were also getting a Pikmin 4?
No. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Tokyo Mirage. I think
no,
justifiable port.
No.
Yeah, but Pikmin 3 launched the same day as Pikmin 4, and they want, all right, if you didn't play Pikmin 3 on Switch, here it is, but Pikmin 4.
Yeah, I feel like you wouldn't be as mad. I feel like the core of the issue is it feels like the announcements for ports is taking over the announcements for new games, which is why people are angry. Like, you can't. Go ahead.
I'm trying to think of another example where a new version of a game came out on the next generation, but they also brought the old game and they like released almost at the same time, like almost like bringing Bayonetta 1 with Bayonetta 2. They could have just sold that as a separate game for like $20 or something, and people would have bought it. If you're interested in Bayonetta 2, you never played Bayonetta 1, here it is. It's like, yeah, we already got Odyssey.
Actually, like No More Heroes. Actually,
like Gravity Rush or something. Yeah, Gravity Rush, and then you had Gravity Rush 2, or was it backwards? Regardless.
Hey, listen, Gravity Rush
came out.
We don't talk about that anymore. They've
killed that. That you have obviously the Uncharted series. You still had your God of War. They brought 3 or whatever, but they still had God of War. Even fucking for Xbox.
They gave away Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. They gave that shit away.
Yeah, I have it for free. I never had to buy it, and I have it.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. Xbox, you had the Master Chief Collection, but you also had Halo 5. There's come on. It ain't that.
Yeah, they remastered Gears, and then right before Gears 4 came out, they did like.
And Master Chief Collection is way better looking than the original games. It's not even just
apparently
like
it's finally like
a port.
We're still working on it, and I don't know if they ever added the whatever reach and all that, and I think I probably could play that.
But that's what I'm saying, is that it's like if you did have I can't believe people really are convincing themselves that if you buy Pikmin 3, it will convince Nintendo to make Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 could have been made again. If that's the case,
3 years ago.
Pikmin 2 should be the one that's the worst selling one. That should be the one that technically gets a re-release, but it's not, because it's just easy. But no one gives a fuck about facts. It's literally a fact.
Why didn't they just port Smash 4? Why did they give us Ultimate? It's like,
yeah, like you could, why that?
And like I said,
Smash 4 is the lowest selling one, bro. What the hell?
What about the people who didn't buy Wii U? Well, what about the people who did? There's not a lot for us.
8 or 7 million of us, or whatever.
There's a lot for the people who did buy Wii U.
Nintendo's thought process is that they had to make a decision. Their decision was they'd rather burn 13 million than burn the potential 100,000.
You're not burning. You telling me they can't make a
burning in the sense of there's money to be made. They're willing to burn the 13 mil to make more money on these games.
It's all profit
because it's all profit. There's
money talks.
You don't lose any money for most of these ports. I'm surprised they're even putting as much effort as they are in some of these things, and it's not a lot of them, mind you.
Think about how come for fucking Chibi Robo they said they put out Ziplash instead of re-releasing Chibi Robo. If that was like they're trying to revive the franchise.
That was just a dumb decision.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, at the end of the day, for that situation,
it's a beautiful 3DS game.
In retrospect, it probably would have been better just to put out a port, because the game we got, people just went, no.
Port Chibi Robo because that game is fucking $200. Like, people can't even get the game.
Yeah, I think that's the other.
That would have been justifiable to port that game.
What about
3DS?
And that's the other issue. The ports they're picking aren't even like games that people can't find now. Like, I'll give you an example. We had the Fire Emblem. They ported. They finally gave us a translation of the first Fire Emblem game, even though the DS remake was already available for Westerners. So we weren't missing anything. And I'm sitting over here, and I think Dio has mentioned it before. Ike's games on the fucking GameCube and Wii can't find them bitches at all.
Yeah.
Them bitches
$250 plus.
I'm like, if you're gonna pick a game, pick those games.
Why don't you pick a game too where it's actually gonna benefit to be in HD for the first time instead of going from 720 to 720 like Pikmin? It doesn't even increase the
NES game.
Like, yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition took a lot of work because it's a huge open world game, but taking another, like, just look how good Galaxy looks in HD. Like, I'm sure there's other games, like Returns, like we always said, just make it HD and put the fur on, because we've never seen that in HD, like,
I'd have bought that shit yesterday. They've added Returns to it. Like,
think about it. Think about it. Why did we get Galaxy 2? That's so less than Galaxy 1. I don't understand.
That's just a weird. Then there's just weird. It was just a weird.
Wasn't there something about why they didn't bring? Well, there was a theory about that there was issues with Koizumi, but then my theory is there's a lot of where you have to use the Wii remote as the pointer for Yoshi. There's a lot of challenging Yoshi sections where you need that fucking pointer, And I just think they're like, what are we gonna do? Well, it's gonna be too difficult. Let's just skip it. Let's just put Galaxy 1 or something. That's what I feel. But
Yeah.
does look good. I mean, I was tempted to open that fucking box when I had it sitting behind me for about a month. T, you're
3D
smart. You're holding on
3D
to that
All-Stars?
shit. It's gonna be worth something someday.
I'm holding that shit, man. I'm just gonna
But
hold on.
when I went
it,
to
yeah.
Best Buy and they had, I don't know, it was 8 to 10 front to back, 4 wide, and then they had, so what is that, like 40, and then down below they had the same thing, and that's just one Best Buy store. They had like 80 copies, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna drop the price to $50. I'm gonna get rid of the damn thing.
Yeah, but that's fine though. But the thing is, if they're sitting there like that, that means they're not moving. So at some point, they're not gonna keep stocking this shit.
Mhm.
Like at some point, there are gonna be no more copies of that game, and this is gonna be what's left because
I was just hoping
they
it
probably
would.
already stopped shipping that game. They probably already stopped it.
I was hoping
They
it
just
would have ran out
announced
by
it.
now and people would have been, I was hoping, I wasn't going to be greedy. I was hoping to make $10-15 per copy because I went to Walmart, paid $50. Breath of Wild's $40 right now
Oh wow.
at a
really?
Best Buy, by the way, saved $20. And it's,
Well,
of
also
course, they don't come with the
I saw
DLC.
Paper Mario was doing had a little price.
I'm just curious if Super Mario All-Star is still, let's see,
And why did we get, dude? Why did we get Origami
$60.
King? Do they not know that? Do they not know that Color Splash is the worst selling Paper Mario?
Yeah, they might as well bring Color Splash now.
What's wrong with them, dude? What is wrong with them? I can't believe it.
But anyway, we went on long enough, even with 2 less people. It always happens. We went longer than normal, but I usually try to end it just for Clock's sake because it's so late where he is. That's why I
Yeah,
always
we're
try to
trying
end
to look
it.
out for our European fellows.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well-
now we could say, fuck them,
Yeah, they don't. Best Buy every once in a while will have a game and it'll have a $10. You'll immediately get $10 gift card for buying the game. And I thought maybe if that was on 3D World or something, but no, nothing like that. Full 60 with Walmart. Always 50. It's just tough to buy games from Best Buy anymore.
I know that one thing though is that Clock did want the audience to know that Nathan Drake is better than Lara Croft. Apparently, I was here. He was saying
Yeah.
that he was like,
Well, he
Tell-
believes that. but
Savagery.
If you're talking
You're
about
saying
new
that-
Lara Croft,
yeah, he
believes
was
it.
saying, oh no, it's old. He said the Uncharted trilogy is better than the PS1 trilogy for Tomb Raider. I was like, wow,
Well, that's bullshit. I love Uncharted, but that's some bullshit right there.
I think Chloe's better than Nathan Drake.
True.
Jesus.
Put that in your pipe and smoke
Love me
it,
some
Robert.
Love me some Chloe.
I love me some Claudia Black all the way back from Farscape
Mm-hmm.
back in 2000.
Just end the fucking
I record
stream.
that
What's
shit on
happening?
VHS. I would record those episodes so I could go out,
That's
hang
a
out
good
with
show,
buddies,
man. That's a good show.
go out to the bar. Red Knight wants to know opinions on Wonder Woman 84.
It was okay.
It was okay.
All right.
The first viewing, I thought it was.
Oh, I didn't look.
The first viewing, I was like,
Terrible.
I was trying to convince myself that it was good. I didn't like the whole Steve Trevor. I thought the whole thing was fucked, especially when they took the jet and flew to Cairo from Washington D.C. in a fucking fighter jet, and I'm just like, what the fuck? He's into some other dude's body. He probably has a passport. Just use it. It was just so stupid. And it was only so and then she makes it invisible, like out of the blue. Just, I've never tried. I did a coffee cup once, and let me try this. Boom, invisible. It was just like, it just was poorly executed. And then the more I thought about it, the more
it felt a lot like the show. And it was funny because they just put that out on HBO Max, the old show.
Oh,
And
did
I'm
they?
like, man, this feels a whole lot like the old TV show. You can't do that shit today.
The opening mall scene was it was so badly shot, the wire work, the dude hanging the little girl over the railing, like that's gonna stop them from doing something.
Yeah. What is that?
Are you fucking
What
kidding
was
me?
that? Like everybody can see you.
Don't come any closer, I'll drop her. If you drop her, they're gonna kill you. It was the dumbest fucking. That opening was one of the worst superhero sequences in any movie.
That's what happens with narcissism, and you let one person control it.
And then,
That's what
you
you
know, they said, Zack Snyder, you know, you helped write the first movie and your stunt team did the action scenes. We don't need you. It was all Patty Jenkins that made the first movie a success. We'll let
I
her
did
handle
this.
everything.
I-
We'll let
I'm
her write
Patty. I
it.
did all this.
We'll let her produce it. We'll let her direct it, and it's just gonna look bad. But it's unfortunate because I really had high hopes. I was pumped.
Me too.
My HBO Max subscription, just watched Harley Quinn, loved it, and I'm pumped.
One quick thing. When it would have made way more sense had she not renounced her wish until, you know, after she got to where Maxwell Lord was, because it's like, then what was the point of the golden armor? Like, that was a reason for her using it, because she didn't have any.
So Cheetah could destroy it easily with her claws when the army couldn't touch it.
So many strange decisions. I'm like, what are you doing?
There's so many plot holes, so many dumb stuff. But anyway, yeah, this is Juices Loose After Hours. This is our post-podcast discussion usually.
You got Terrell leaning already. You got to get out of here, man.
Bro, I'm about
the most shocking thing of 2020, honestly. All the bullshit that happened. Honestly, the most shocking thing for me in 2020 was that Birds of Prey was a better movie. Well, I liked it better than fucking Wonder Woman 1984. I was shocked. I thoroughly enjoyed it. One on the first viewing. It might not hold up a second viewing, but anyway.
To be fair, yeah, I didn't watch the second time, but I really.
And I think it was my love of the show that carried Birds of Prey for me, because that show is just fucking phenomenal.
You saw the show.
The animated series is just so fucking good.
Yeah.
I'm like, anyway, we're gonna end this. Thanks for tuning in. It's been fun. Terrell, he's done.
I was done a while ago.
But yeah, we'll be. I'm thinking February 1st we'll do the game of the year 2020 because I need.
I need to set it. You don't want to set it in June.
So I'm gonna try to play Streets of Rage and then finish Immortals. Terrell, he's got to finish Will the Wisps.
I like how now that's just been put on me. I don't like this situation.
I guess I got to do it too.
And then Doom Eternal if you can. Terrell, might as well play that too.
I don't know to play it in 4K.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy?
Just like, here's your debt. Like, shit, man. Like, I get it.
You know how they say how it was impressive how well Doom Eternal runs on PS4. Smooth 60, really sharp visuals. So I downloaded it on PC and I was just like, it's a pretty beefy card. It's probably PS5 level, teraflops and all that with the Vega 64. And I was like, well, I figure I'm not gonna max. I'm just gonna put it like medium, put some stuff to high. And I was like, man, it looks worse than what I'm used to seeing. Well, I play it on PS4 Pro with HDR on that beautiful OLED TV. And I was like, well, let me watch a video. And he's just like, if you got 8 gigs of RAM and anything above a 580, you can probably put it at with Nightmares, like, and then Ultra Nightmare, the settings. I don't know why they called it that. I was like, so I put it up to high and I was like, getting 150 frames. Let me put it up to Nightmare. I'm getting 145 frames. Let me put it Ultra Nightmare. 130. I was like, what the fuck? But it doesn't look that much better than the PS4 Pro version. So it's not. They really held it back from going. Like, I imagine if you had like a 3080, RTX 3080, you'd probably get 240 frames per second with that game. They really didn't push the visuals out that far on PC, which I guess is better for people who have lower end stuff, but. I thought it was going to be like, holy shit, this is going to look amazing. But basically the consoles, it looks great, but the console, the enhanced console versions, I think is very comparable to the PC. So, but anyway, enough of that. We're getting out of here. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Peace.